crazy. She goes live too much. She's too loud. She's too crazy. She goes live too much. She's weird. She's different. She's too sexual. She's too religious. She's too much. Maybe she's just a leader. Crazy and completely different than I ever expected it to be, and it's thrown me into a complete and utter path to change my life into exactly what it is today. It's been messy, it's been ugly, it's been everything, and it's all been perfect. I wouldn't have changed any of it. If I had followed what everybody else wanted, if I had finished college, which I did, and gotten a really good job, which I did, and stayed going more broke every 2 weeks with every paycheck, I would not be where I am today in my dream location. I would not be where I am today in my dream life and being told by a stupid boss that I have bad work ethic. It's being terminated from my first company because I was different, because I didn't look like they wanted me to, because I didn't dress like they wanted me to, because I didn't talk like they wanted me to, because I didn't act like they wanted me to. I decided to become an authentic version of myself, and it has absolutely set my entire world on fire. And if you will put on your cape, if we're all going to wear masks anyway because of COVID, we might as well be our own superheroes. So maybe she's a leader, and maybe she's a boss, and maybe all she does is win, because maybe she's bossly. And this is the Empire. Every single one of you, welcome to Empire You.
Happy Sunday. I'm going to turn off this music because apparently I didn't. Oh, geez, it's still going. It's still going. Happy Sunday. Hey, Tanya. Hey, Charlene. Hi, Avery. Avery was going to join me, but she had a few things come up, and she had a ton of fun at the concert on Friday and needed to give her vocal cords a rest. So hopefully she can join me for, and hopefully you can hear me. I'm notorious for my sound issues. I know that. I realize that. We're going to be listening to episode 2 of Jessie Lee Ward's podcast, The People's Mentor, and it is a whole moment. It's a moment. Great. Glad to hear that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Spotify. And I'm going to put I'm going to try to put an overlay over it because, oh, that's too big. We're going to leave it like this for now. Next week, I'm going to have better overlays for you. Promise. Promise. All right. This is, here's the episode description. They're reading from the Book of Lies, Jessie Lee says. What does that mean? Stop buying the part-time pay, full-time money lie. Your success is going to take time and hard work and consistency, but when you're aligned with your goals, dreams, and purpose, residual income is very much a real thing. Okay. I have I do have an overlay. I do have an overlay. Okay. Squirrel. Okay. How do you hop on? Do I need to download anything? It's just a link. Tanya, if you wanna join, I can send you a link right now. Do you want me to? I can send it to you in Discord. Private message in Discord if you want. Copy to clipboard. If you want to hop on, you totally can. Let's see. Start a conversation. How do I message someone? There we go. If you want to hop on, you're more than welcome to. I just messaged you in Aaron's Discord. If I can hop on, I will, but I will be doing Chinese homework to do while listening to this. Yeah, for sure. Hop on if you want to. I sent you the link in StreamYard. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and press play. If people pop in, I will add them and we will continue. Play. Play. Oh gosh. Here we go.
Hello, everybody. What's going on? It's Jessie Lee. You can also call me Boss Lee, and I'm super excited to be doing
this is wrong.
episode of the podcast for you.
Why is she not coming out of my speaker? Gosh darn it. Okay, we're rewinding. Settings, audio. Okay. I don't want you to adjust my mic volume. We are listening to episode 2 of Jessie Lee Ward's podcast, The People's Mentor. Okay. Hey, Tanya. Let me fix this.
Hey.
Okay, let's fix this. Remove and... Oh, there we go. Okay, I'm trying to fix the sound because apparently Spotify is being a turd. So let me see if I need to adjust something in the settings here. Settings. Audio. I want to do very high. Download. Very high. Audio quality. I want to send it through my sound mixer. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm just wonderful. How are you?
I'm good. I'm scared. I mean, I've already listened to part of this, and that quote on the front of the cover for this YouTube video is directly from this episode. So it is a moment. It is a uncomfortable.
Oh God.
So yeah, just getting called lazy is always the best. And I'm saying that sarcastically. Let's see. I didn't have a problem with this last time. So, oh, I know what I did. Sorry.
I'm just gonna mute myself for a quick second. Hold on.
Perfect. Okay. Thank y'all for. Yep. Okay, I think we're ready to go. I'm going to go back to the main screen so we don't have to look at the user settings, and I'm going to rewind this because y'all couldn't hear it. And I'm going to make sure to turn it down because I don't think that... Okay, let's see.
Hello, everybody. What's going on? It's Jessie Lee. You can also call me Boss
No,
Lee, and I'm super
dang it.
excited to be doing this episode of the
Dang it. Hold on. Oh, here we
Talking
go.
with my mom.
Figured it out. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, let's see.
for you.
There we go.
Thanks so much for subscribing. Thanks so much for those of you.
Okay.
Hello, everybody. What's going on? It's Jessie Lee. You can also call me Boss Lee, and I'm super excited to be doing this episode of the podcast for you.
Hi.
Thanks so much for subscribing. Thanks so much for those of you who have shared it with somebody. Thanks so much for all of the comments, reviews, all of that good stuff. If you do enjoy it, make sure after you're done here, you go back and you leave it, hopefully, a 5-star review. So tonight we're going to talk about people, maybe this is you, who expect to be able to work part-time and make full-time money.
I think we all expect to work part-time and make full-time money because that's what all the recruiters are telling us that we can do, that it's so easy to work in the pockets of time. So, I mean, take some ownership over what your team is saying. You know what I mean? Like, that's what my thought. That's my thought. I don't know, Tanya, what do you think about that?
My whole thing is that if we were to put, let's say, a top leader from Prove It, let's take Jessie Lee, and say a top leader from Monet, they would all be saying the same exact thing.
Yep.
Like word for word verbatim. So they have no control over what their downline says because they're repeating what their upline says.
Yeah, they're setting the example, and then they're not holding the people in their downline accountable for saying, and again, they also put an incredible amount of pressure on their downline to recruit. And so they're left with a tough choice of saying whatever they need to say to get someone to sign up. So I put the responsibility on the leaders for both, for setting a bad example and for not correcting the behavior as well. Because if the environment was made uncomfortable by Jessie Lee to say, no, we're following the rules, we're following the FTC, we're following compliance, we're not going to do all this stuff, I don't think that we would see all the problems that we're seeing from the teams on Jessie Lee's team or on Mandy Sue's team or on Ann Fisher's team. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like, yeah, take accountability for yourself, but behavior is also modeled. And who are they looking at? They're looking at the top of the pyramid performers. That's my opinion. Let us know in the live chat. I'm gonna press play.
I can't see the live chat, by the way, because I'm on my phone. So
okay. I will pop up anything. I will pop it up on the screen. So yes, we are watching we're listening to Jessie Lee Ward. This is from her podcast. And Mama says in legitimate business, it takes years of overtime to work halftime. Yeah. I mean,
Yep.
And then Charlene said there aren't any rules or guidelines set by the leaders. It's a Wild West with them. And I think part of it is their bottom line is they want to grow their paycheck. So they put pressure for other people to share the product and to recruit. And so, they're modeling poor behavior and then they're encouraging poor behavior as well. And then she said,
it's not even modeling poor behavior, modeling deceptive behavior.
Yeah. Yep. And that's one step further than poor behavior for sure, because they're doing it for their own personal benefit. They're doing it to make money. All right. Yep. Play.
I mean, I hate to be the one to do this to you guys, but it just does not exist. It does not work like that. And so I'm going to give you some tips on how to work your business, work your job, work your life, work whatever it is, and get some fulfillment out of it and not feel like you are, all over the place, scatterbrained, unaligned, and have no idea how to succeed in your life. So if that interests you, stay tuned. So first of all, I think that if you are going to do anything in business or in life, you've got to make sure you're aligned with it. And all that I mean with aligned by it is it needs to be something that serves you. It needs to be something that when you think about it, you get fired up. It needs to be something that you don't even have to think twice. You are all in. Okay. So this means alignment with your goals. This means alignment with the people in your life. This means alignment with your dreams. This means alignment with your purpose on this earth. Okay. And when you
I'm concerned again. She said this for years and years. This is from April of 2018. She's talking about alignment with people in her life, and we've seen her encourage others to cut people out of their life. I mean, I don't know, Tanya, if you've seen that. I've been following her for a hot minute, for a long time.
I just started following her in the past year, and she's changed from here to where she is now.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
Do that, this whole part-time, full-time, whatever, I'm in, I'm out, I'm doing whatever, willy-nilly, blah, okay? That just doesn't happen. When you're in alignment, you go, go, go. When you are focused, you go, go, go. When you don't feel like you need somebody to take you and drag you along, you are in alignment. And when you do that, friendolas, you should be unstoppable. So there's a reason when people look at me, they're like, Jessie Lee, you're out of control. Like, you're so good at everything you do.
I'm sure people said she's a good recruiter. I guess maybe it's just a difference in opinions and like talking about how good you are at something. I feel like if you're good at something, you don't necessarily have to tell other people you're good at it. And Charlene said she's always talking out of both sides of her mouth. We know her actions are in stark contrast with her words. And she is, even in episode 1 that we listened to last week, the things she said in episode 1 directly contradict things that she's saying in 2022. And I'm not saying like that we can't change our minds or change our beliefs about things. I'm saying that in 2022, she's saying, oh, y'all just don't get me. Y'all don't understand. When there have been people that have been following her for a long time. Remember what she said before. And then she's pretending like all of those words don't exist. That's just
like the no cutting thing.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
Anything you touch turns to gold. I love when you guys say that. It makes me excited. Everything you do turns to gold. Everything you touch turns to gold. You always are successful, blah, blah, blah. Well, it's not that. It's just that I only do things that I'm aligned with. And when I'm aligned with it, I can run harder and faster and more aggressively than anybody. I become unstoppable. So let's become unstoppable. Let's find out what we're aligned with. Take the time to get a pen out, write down 5 things that you're focused on, 5 things you're passionate about, 5 things that get you fired up, 5 things that have nothing to do with anything maybe you're even currently doing, but you know would serve you. And I'm going to be the first one to tell you, if it's not your job, if it's not your partner, if it's not your friends, if it's not your circle, if it's not whatever, get.
Paige said she'd be wise to remember what happened to King Midas. You're not wrong, Paige. You're not wrong.
No, not at all.
Yep.
Not at all.
Out of it. Leave the job, guys. There are plenty of jobs out there. I don't know why people get so hung up. It's a good pay. It's stability. There's nothing stable about having a life you hate.
Not everybody who works a 9 to 5 or a night job or even in a job where it's not consistent, it's not a consistent schedule, but you are working a lot. Not everyone hates their job. And she continues to paint an extreme view for her own benefits of wanting to recruit people. And I mean, that's pretty clear. She obviously wants people to come over to network marketing, but to shame everybody else who is working hard or working on non-traditional jobs or traditional jobs, it gets old after a while. And I don't know what you think about that, Tanya.
It's not even a matter of getting old. I'm going to be completely honest with you. It's the repetitiveness. That's the whole point. It's to break you down.
Yeah.
It's to break you down.
Like that. Yep.
And so when you hear it once, you're like, yeah, okay, whatever. You hear it twice, you're like, well, maybe. You hear it 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 20 times. You're going to be like, well, maybe they're right.
Yep.
Maybe I do need this. Maybe this will help me get me out of the situation. Like in the situation I'm in right now, I would be prime meat to these people.
Yep.
Only because I'm part of the chronic pain community. I'm a single mom. I'm a stay-at-home mom. Would I love to bring in more money? Absolutely. I was part of Unique. That's how they got me. Was being a stay-at-home mom, and I stayed in that for a year.
Wow.
I was active, what I would consider active, for 6 months, and then the last 6 months, I didn't want to lose the friends I made.
Yeah. Yep.
So they push and push and push and push. So it's not a matter of it's old to us because we hear it from everybody from all sides.
Yeah.
But if they're going after the same person with the same message over and over and over and over again, that's the whole point. It's to break you down. It's not to push someone away. It's to bring them in.
Yeah. And I didn't think about that.
Extremely predatory.
Yeah, it's very predatory, and it's very much falls in with the bite model of thought control and information control and emotional control. Because again, they're doing that kind of hypnotic. They, like you just said, they're repeating something over and over and over and over and again, and you get someone at a weak point, or at a point, they do want to join a community, or they do want to make more money. I mean, that's a lot of people want to be able to make more money, just like you said. And she's encouraging others. I mean, I think a lot of people listen to her podcast, unfortunately, but I think that she's perpetuating an idea that is predatory. Absolutely.
But how many people are actually going to go back to the very beginning and listen to a podcast?
I don't know.
The very first episode to the current episode. So, with someone that they're recruiting, they're going to go to the most recent. They're going to go maybe 2, 3, 4 episodes and then be like, well, maybe they're right.
Yep.
Maybe what people are telling, how can this be a scam, or how can this be a pyramid scheme, or how could this be a commercial cult if so many people are a part of it? Yeah. There's only 2 legitimate studies that we use as evidence between AARP and the FTC that pretty much say the same thing. And then you've got hundreds of people, thousands of people saying the same thing. What are you going to believe as someone who's vulnerable? You're going to believe the thousands of people. You're not going to believe 2 studies.
Right. And even still, people don't want to think there's something that bad at that large of a scale going on. In my opinion, obviously we've seen the people harmed. You've been harmed by a multi-level marketing company. I've been harmed. The people on my team were harmed, and I participated in presenting them with an opportunity that put them in a financially bad spot. I put my family in a financially bad spot. And I think people genuinely don't, like, they don't want to say, wow, this is going on at such a large scale, and that can't be true. It can't be true that all these companies are bad, or all of these compensation plans are bad. And talk to people at least to get a balanced perspective. And a lot of times people like Jessie Lee Ward, people on her team, and even in any other multi-level marketing company, they're only going to show you the positive. And having both, having their whatever they're spewing, and at least knowing that, talk to people in her downline, her mid to lower downline, who are not in the company anymore, and see what their experience was like. And just, like, if you can find them, great. There's lots of Erin, one of the upper tier people who got out. Erin Bees is one of the upper tier people, and she tells a completely different story than what we're hearing her say, or what we're hearing her lab members say about what their experience was like in a multi-level marketing company.
But people are not going to do that kind of research. They're really not. If they're in a tough spot financially, or even in a tough spot trying to find friends, they just, like, I moved to Texas. I have no real life friends. All of my real life friends, 2 best friends, they live in Massachusetts. So I can only, get on Zoom or whatever with them. I can only talk to them via text. I can't just hop over to their house and have our kids play and we catch up. Yeah. So you've got people who are like me, who use it for community and a paycheck. Yep. I can tell you, I will have earned at the end of the year that I got, when I got my 1099, I netted less than $100.
Wow.
Net for Unique.
Wow.
After a year.
Wow.
And because my mom, praise to her, she told me to get an itemized 1099, and I did. And we did a P&L, profit and loss.
Wow.
And I netted less than $100.
Wow.
I dumped everything that I earned back into Unique. Yep.
I was instructed to do the same thing by my upline. They were saying, you have a bigger inventory, buy this. And again, everything I purchased from the company went to her commission check. It didn't matter one flippity flopping bit if I sold it. When my volume was purchased, she automatically took money from that, because that's how the compensation structure is worked in that way.
Right, and that was with me recruiting. I had a very, very itty bitty small team underneath me. Yep. I still netted less than $100. What does that tell you? Yep. So you've got people like Jessie Lee Ward. You've got people like Eric Worre. You've got people, the WFAB girls, for example, that are jumping ship and jumping to a different MLM with bridge contracts, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And they're still using the same script. Yep. They're still using the same predatory script and the repetitiveness to break people down. Yeah. It's all a breakdown technique. And unfortunately, I learned that the hard way. I went to my upline, who happened to be a childhood friend of mine, and she got out like 6 months later. And she came to me and apologized. And I apologized for my downline. Yeah. For ever getting them involved in it. Yep. I'm surprised that they're not standing outside the welfare office trying to recruit people. Yeah. Or outside disability, Social Security, outside Social Security buildings. Yeah. Let's pray upon the people that take Social Security. Let's pray upon the older generations that, because of inflation, could possibly trying to, in order to keep themselves alive, to eat cat food.
Yeah.
What's next?
Yep. And I'm glad there's so many people. I'm glad, like you said, you talked to Erin Bees on her podcast with your story. Is that right, Tanya?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Did you you talk to Erin Bees on her podcast about your experience?
No, I haven't been on a podcast.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, I'd love to, but I don't think I would meet the requirements for that. Only
hey,
because it was such a short amount of time.
okay. Well, I'm gonna. Are you okay with me linking your Instagram below in the description
Absolutely,
after?
go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tanya's a pretty she posts about anti-MLM, about human rights in her on her Instagram. You're a makeup you were a former makeup artist, or you're still a makeup artist, or
I still consider myself a makeup artist, but because of the way that the economy is, people aren't going anywhere and getting their makeup done. I
Yeah.
do freelance work. I don't work for a company. I don't work for a salon. I work out of my house.
Okay. Well, I'd love to, again, I'm going to post you in the description, and I like to spread, even though I'm a small channel, the people who do come across, at least they'll at least find your channel. And well,
I do have a YouTube channel. It's the same.
Oh,
If you see a hand randomly, by the way, that's my son. Whoop! Lost my earbud. Hold on. That's my son playing with my hair. And he said, "Nice to meet you." If you can hear him, he's got the littlest itty bitty voice. But
that's so sweet.
He's my world. But I do have a YouTube channel. I am going to start firing it up. I've just got to get my hands on a used computer, so I can edit. But yeah, it's more going to be when I first start, because I have the ability to go live on my YouTube channel.
Cool.
So I'm going to start doing lives on my channel, talking mostly about human rights and how people talking out both sides of their mouth when it comes to human rights.
Okay, that's great. And next time, if you're able to come on live, we can get you connected through StreamYard, so we can also stream to your channel. And if you'd like this video for your channel, I'm happy to send it to you so you can start building content. If you'd like that.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you.
No problem. No problem. Let's unfortunately get back to Jessie Lee's podcast. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. How long is this episode?
It's not very long. I think it's only 25 minutes total. So
oh wow.
I'd pause as much.
I'm gonna say
oh
it again.
No, I don't care. We can take as long as we need.
Having a life you hate. If you come home from work and you're depressed and you're anxious and you're tired and you're mopey and you're causing your whole family anxiety and stress because you're anxious and stressed, no. No.
It's not. She's saying, like, I mean, yes, stress impacts your family when they care about you, but to say like that is a wrong type of feeling. There are some jobs that are stressful, or not having a job is stressful. I mean, being a doctor, being a nurse, being a fireman, a policeman, like there's some high stress jobs. And even being like construction work on the highway, those are high risk jobs too, where you're like, there's some amount of stress associated with lots of jobs, and some of them, like firemen, policemen, construction, like you can die from doing it too, because you're in a situation where firemen, like you could be killed by the fire, or if you are policemen, same thing, or construction workers, they get hit by cars all the time. So I mean, to say like being stressed is not the right feeling, that doesn't. And yes, there are some people who have jobs and they're not happy in them, but she is boiling it down in such a non-nuanced, non-complicated way. It just comes across as deceptive and disingenuous.
It's not even disingenuous. It's, again, predatory, one. And two, I come from a retail background. I've done retail for over 20 years. Hi, Avery. I come from a retail background. Retail, if you are, it takes a special type of person to do retail. Not everybody can do it.
Yep.
Because you have to work with the public.
Yep.
And you have to be nice and you have to put on that retail face and that facade that you actually care about what their problems are. When 9 times out of 10, you really don't, because it's small potatoes.
Right.
So when I hear her say you're downtrodden, you're depressed, you're angry, you're stressed out, it's like no matter what job you have, whether it's a high stress job or you're working in retail or you just don't like your job and your boss stresses you out, these are all minute but very powerful pain points that she is hitting on and that they continue to hit on.
That's really good. That's really good.
No, just no. Okay. So here's the thing. A lot of us get into businesses right now. I'm in business. I love what I do. I'm super aligned with what I do. I'm in a health and wellness field and I am just so passionate about it. I have ridiculous goals. I have huge dreams. My purpose towards it is incredible. And I have vision towards it, which is why I will never quit. I don't quit. I'm like a dog on a bone, y'all. When I'm in, I'm all in. You got to do something crazy like terminate me. I don't even know. To get rid of me, but that's just me. That's just my personality. What can I say? But here's the problem. So many of you get into something and you grossly overestimate what you can do in a year and you grossly underestimate what you can do in 10. And
why do we do that? Why are they grossly overestimating it? Is it because they're listening to their recruiter? Is it because they're watching how, again, so we see, I think for the entire time I follow Jessie Lee Ward, she's posted about like the big financial things she's bought. She's been posting her paychecks to her Facebook, even when she was not making a ton, when she was in slumber parties. She's been using income claims, the things she actually buys to influence others, which every single network marketer does. And when you're using things that are meaningful to other people, like actually having a paycheck or being able to buy a car for your parent or even able to just buy a car in general, that is influential. And you're watching this from afar, and what you're saying, what you're posting is saying something to those people looking to sign up. And they're getting these inaccurate expectations from the people in network marketing. They're getting that from people like Jessie Lee Ward. She posted like a $50,000 Gucci shopping trip when she was overseas for her Europe tour. So, I mean, so she's doing that now in 2022. And she's saying this in 2018, that you have unrealistic expectations. Well, who's giving us those? It's her. It's her.
It's not even, I agree with you 120%. Like, she's been doing this, from what I understand, for years. Not only from you, but from Erin B's as well. And if you're not subscribed to Erin, please do. She's amazing. But at the end of the day, it's all a lie. It's a facade.
Okay, where is
she is putting on her best face, her what I call the retail face.
Okay, where is it?
To push these people into quitting their jobs, into putting their life savings into a business that 90% of people fail at.
Yeah.
For her to line her pockets. For her lab people to line their pockets. For the upper down line to line their pockets. And then you've got the minions down at the bottom. And the plebes. The ones who worship the ground that she walks on. For pennies a month.
Yep.
And that breaks my heart. Because they'll post, this paid my car payment this month. Meanwhile, they're not telling you that they're working 3 other jobs.
Yep.
To dump into the business.
Yep. And
the business model, it sucks. itself is unsustainable.
Yep. And she, Gladys was, I think it was Gladys who was telling me that she either in a private Zoom or something was telling people that she recommend, this is, I did not hear this myself, so take it with I trust what she had said.
Allegedly.
Allegedly was recommending that people don't quit their jobs because when they do, they can't supplement the purchases that people were needing to make to prove it. And it was more they would be more consistent customers, they would be more consistent distributors if they had their full-time job and they were able to cover the losses with the extra money from their main paycheck. So it's twisted for sure. It's very twisted.
I get so angry. It boils my blood and raises my blood pressure about how these people will prey upon anything that they can get for money.
Yeah, and
they don't care how they get it.
Yeah, and again, when they've obviously figured out a way to take a large amount of money from a lot of people, and money's necessary for most people, for people just to be able to live in general, and they're preying on a lot of people, and it's like, are you looking at the entire picture? Do you care about the median and lower levels of your compensation plan and how much money they're losing? And it sure doesn't seem like there's a lot of care in how this business model is negatively impacting them, because she has said that the reason people fail is because they quit. The reason people fail is because they don't have a good work ethic. The reason that people fail is, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And that's not the reason people fail, is because of the compensation plan. And again, there's so many reasons I don't like the compensation plans in multi-level marketing, but I don't want to get on a tangent. Hi, Sonic.
Hi, Sonic.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
You can skew that however you want to. You can grossly overestimate what you can do in a month and grossly underestimate what you can do in a year, whatever. It's all the same. Here's the proof in the pudding, okay? People look at me all the time and they go, Jessie Lee, it's like you're an overnight success. Everything you touch turns to gold. You're just so good at it. Well, you know what? Yeah, I did just join a new company. I did just realign myself. I did just, get involved in something new. Not even, and I don't even know if it's been 6 months yet. I think it's been 6 months. Okay. And I've blown up. Of course, blown up. Just body slamming everything left, right, and center. Can't help myself. I am so unstoppable. I am like a freight train. Like, get out of my way. Choo, choo, coming through. Okay. Not an overnight success. It's not even 10 years. I actually look at my life, and thanks for those of you who listened to the first episode. Really appreciate that. Your feedback's been incredible. It was really humbling, and I can't say thank you enough. But if you've heard my first episode, my work ethic started so young. I can't even tell you. It's not even a 10-year overnight success. It's more than a 20-year overnight success.
Holton Bugs, I did a live on his speech he gave at a GoPro event for Eric Worre, and he said, I'm an 18-year overnight success, and she's repeating some of the same things. So I'm wondering if they're picking up these cute little, I don't know, quotable sayings from Eric Worre, because she's almost verbatim saying the same thing that Holton was saying, and I'm guessing they got it from, and I don't know, I've never been around Eric Worre. If you are wanting the deep dive on Jessie Lee Ward, definitely check out Erin B's channel. She knew Jessie, or I guess knows Jessie Lee Ward. Jessie Lee has stayed at her home, and a lot of her content is from primary source person who actually had experience with her.
Personal one-on-one experience, which I think is valuable. It gives us an insight as to who she is.
Yep. And it confirms some of the things that we were saying, hey, this isn't sounding right. Is she really like this, or is she not like this? And Erin, I don't want to give anything away from her videos, but it's eye-opening. it is eye-opening to hear Erin's experience.
Mind blowing. It
Yep.
really is. When I found Erin, it was from Chelsea.
Yep.
Chelsea. DeeCee Squares, I'm going to shout her out because she's amazing. And she's
Yep.
my friend. But when I started following the whole Jessie Lee Ward thing, it was before Chelsea got her cease and desist. So if that tells you anything, it's been over a year. And then she was talking about Erin Bees and how she found Erin. And I went over to Erin's channel and watched her videos on Jessie Lee Ward and Eric Worre and how they treated her.
Yeah.
Just to keep her in the business.
Yep.
Those pain points are so, and sometimes it's not a pain point. It's an ego boost.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he talked about me. That's
Yep.
like one of the big things that Erin says, oh my God, he talked about me. And he kept her in the business. Just him saying her name.
Yep. And
And
I
it
feel
makes
like,
me sick.
yeah, it's and it's just a powerful reminder how impactful influence can be, how impactful words can be. And yes, we're critiquing Jessie Lee's podcast, what she's saying and how it contrasts what she is saying now in 2022, and hopefully highlighting some of the manipulative and unethical business practices that she seems to get behind. So I it's, words matter. The internet pretty much is forever. So I think it's valuable to go back and listen to what she's saying to give a fuller context about, what she's been about in the past and how that conflicts with what she's doing now. And Paige said, Mama's 25-year work at home anniversary was yesterday, so take that, Jessie Lee.
I'm glad that you're doing this. A lot of people wouldn't take the time to go back and do a compare and contrast as to who she was then and what she did to get people in the business, to get her to where she is now, to who she is now and what she's saying to keep people in the business.
Yeah.
I mean, the big thing is that she's not doing the Wednesday night trainings anymore because not enough people showed up. And she had 600 people on a Zoom.
Yeah.
That wasn't enough people for her.
That it's very wild, especially when she has spent years saying how consistent she is, how she's a woman of her word, how when she makes a promise, she follows through on it. And so let's say all those people, they signed up with the Empire because they heard that they got firsthand access to Jessie Lee Ward, that they were going to get personalized training and more training than any other team in network marketing got. And then now in 2022, Jessie Lee has decided that she's too valuable to be speaking in front of less than X number of people. Well, you made a promise, and your downline made promises to people and saying that, hey, you're going to get access to this, and now where are we at? Where we're at an ego trip. We're at the consequences of an ego trip, and so all these people are not getting that access to that training. What the heck? What the heck?
Oh, they can go back and watch the previous trainings because it's all word vomit and the same thing. So.
Yep. It's repetitive. Yep. You'd be surprised by how much gets lost over time online. The foreverness is inconsistent. Yeah, I mean, the Wayback Machine, though, you can pull up if the Wayback Machine is a website, and a lot of bigger websites get basically they get not screenshotted, but they get remembered as they were in specific times. So you can go back and see what has been removed, what's been edited, what's been without necessarily knowing. So it's super helpful. It's super helpful.
What's been said about somebody? A lot of the evidence in the Johnny Depp case was they used the Wayback Machine to get a lot of the information from back in 2016. Amber wrote that.
Yep.
So just to get the engagement, they went to the Wayback Machine. because she deleted the tweet because she didn't realize it, but her lawyer told her to delete it.
Yeah.
So they used the Wayback Machine. I've Wayback Machine myself. It's really funny to see how far I've come. It's like Googling yourself. If you haven't Wayback Machine yourself, do it. It's funny.
Yeah, it's certainly eye-opening. And again, there's so much on YouTube, on Instagram. Like Jessie Lee is a popular topic because I think she's very I don't know what the right word is. She's not problematic. I don't know what the right word is, and I'm trying to be respectful, but she inflammatory. She says a lot of things for shock value, and I think understanding the context and the entirety from her podcast, I think that's important because it's not just people hyper focusing on the culmination of how she's gotten here. I think it's been a long time coming, and she's shown us what she's been about all the way back in 2018 when she started this podcast.
I agree with Paige. My mom handed me her phone so I could see the chat, and I totally 100% agree with Paige. It doesn't catch everything. But the whole point of the Wayback Machine is to kind of get a culmination of how a person was at a certain time when they deleted the information.
Yep.
There's always going to be a digital footprint. Always, whether they delete it or not.
Yeah.
And especially with problematic people, there's always going to be that footprint.
Yeah. And I think that the problematic for me comes in terms of like, how are you treating others? What are you saying and how are you impacting them? And can people grow and change? Sure. But there sure seems to be a history here of treating people poorly, of saying whatever you want to get whatever you want. And you can package it however you want to. And you can say, they're misunderstanding me. They're misremembering what I said. Well, here's exactly what you said. And we have questions now. I think a lot of people have questions. So Sonic said, this is the first time I'm hearing about Jessie Lee's podcast. I didn't even know she had one. It ranked. Let me see where it's ranked. Let me just look it up really quick. The people's.
Yeah, because she still doesn't it, does she?
Yep.
She still posts to her podcast.
Yeah. She does. And I was trying to see I'm trying to see where she ranks because at one time she was ranking pretty high. Chartable. I'm looking on Chartable right now. Okay. So she's number 50. Oh, wait, she dropped. Hold on. Oh, dang.
Oh, good. Yay.
So Apple Podcasts, I think at one point she was number 58, which is pretty high. But
in the genre of small business, correct?
Yep. Yes. But guess what? And maybe people know this. Back in the day when she first started, she was giving people $50. She was putting people's names in to win $50 cash for leaving her a 5-star review. So you see these thousands of 5-star reviews on her channel. Well, she used to give weekly $50 cash giveaway for whoever during that week gave her a 5-star review. So how is that genuine? You know what I mean? Like, how does that? I know other people do that. I know other people do that. But
I know that, like, okay. So, like, Chelsea has her podcast, right? Down a rabbit hole.
Yep.
She tells people, if you want to review it, great. Please do. Give it 5 stars if you do. But she's not out giving cash incentives.
Yeah. And Jessie
That's
Lee
incentivizing.
Yep. She did this for weeks and weeks and weeks. And I don't know how many weeks she did it for, but she has over 2.
It was to get her on the trending charts. That's what that was about.
Yep, absolutely. And is it smart? Yes, but the way that it was painted, the way she paints her podcast is that she's a top podcast, but she always leaves out that she essentially paid for reviews. And
well, like Charlene said, Amazon sellers will send you I do it.
Yeah.
They'll DM me on Instagram saying, hey, if we give you the money up front to buy this product. Can you please review the product? Hold on. Let me grab something because this is important. Let me grab something. It'll be 2 seconds.
Okay, cool. And I think
Okay. Go ahead.
no, I just think that it would be more honest of her to say, I have a top podcast. I have a lot of downloads. I also have a lot of 5-star reviews. I think I probably get so many great 5-star reviews. Not only people enjoy it, but if you like, I do $50 a week giveaways for everyone who's given me a 5-star review that week. And that's what I do here on my channel. And I would just feel better about it if she added that addendum to her statement whenever she's promoting her podcast, that she she does these weekly $50 giveaways, and sometimes I think she was doing $500 giveaways. So it was just I don't know. Let me know what your thoughts are. I know what you were gonna say.
Okay, so this will link together, I promise. So see this here?
Yep.
This was a pair of quote unquote water shoes, and this company sent me the money through PayPal to buy them. So I bought them with their money, got them sent to me. They told me to leave them a positive review. And I told them up front that if I don't like them, I'm not leaving a review because I don't like giving negative reviews because that's mean.
Right.
I don't like it. I will give the company a private review saying what can be changed. And I did that with these.
Yeah.
Okay. They got mad and tried to pull back the money on PayPal.
Oh.
I contested it with PayPal, told them exactly what happened, and they looked through their history. And apparently, when I talked to PayPal on the phone, they said flat out that they have a history of this. You're good, and close the case. So now, getting back to where Jessie Lee and this links up, this could have burned her because Apple Podcast does not play around with bot reviews.
Wow.
They don't play around. You can say, please leave a 5-star review. Please leave a 5-star review, even if you only watch it once, because I watched Chelsea's podcast on YouTube.
Yeah.
Because she posted all on the same thing instead of being confusing and having 2 different channels. Yeah. So with Jessie Lee, she's lucky she didn't get caught because Apple Podcast does not play around. Apple doesn't play around with bot anything.
That's a really good point, and I didn't think about that at all.
And neither does Spotify.
Wow. That's new information to me. That's amazing. That is amazing.
So just so you know, if you get hit up on Instagram, take advantage of it. You can get some really cool products, like the tripod I'm using right now.
Yeah.
It was bought and paid for by the company, and I love it because it extends up to 6 feet.
Wow, that's cool. That's awesome.
So keep in mind that it can be a positive thing.
Yeah.
But like Charlene said, you get discounted product, whatever, for bot. That is considered a bot review.
That's really good. That's super
insightful. I'm buying it with my own money. They're not just sending me the product.
Yep. That's a really good point.
This point, I didn't tell you guys, but I got my first job at 13 years old. I worked in an ice cream shop, and I was not pleased with making $5 an hour, which was like, the minimum wage when I was 13. And so I put out a tip jar and I said, this is unacceptable. I'm going to make some extra money. I started making more than like the manager there because I was schmoozing people, man. I knew what was going on. All right. But it's not an overnight success. You take 12 years old. 12 years old was 17 years ago for me. You take 17 years of sales, 17 years of showing up when I didn't feel like it, 17 years of paying for my own clothes and my own shoes and my own extra stuff that I wanted, 17 years of going to school full time. And I don't go to school anymore, but 17 years of going to school full time, grade school, then college, and then having a job. Guys, I worked 3 jobs in college.
A lot of people work a lot in college, and to paint the picture that was significantly different than most experiences. And now I know some kids who don't work at all, and they can go to college like because they got a they got a scholarship, and she did. She got a full scholarship to Hunter College.
Leaving that out.
Yep. And
Yep.
she
When
said
she went
that
to Hunter, she got a full merit scholarship, which means she could have done whatever.
Yeah. And you know, maybe she had to pay for her room and board. And I get that. She's creating this narrative that doesn't ring true for what she said about her experience. Just in the last episode, she's creating something that sounds good to meet what she's trying to say or what she's trying to sell to us on this podcast.
Girl, if I told you what I did, because I have 2 degrees. I have an education degree, K through 3, and I also have a double major, because in Massachusetts you had a double major if you were a teacher. I have a early childhood psych degree.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
I worked 4 jobs. I did student teaching. I did clinicals, school, and I worked my retail job. The only day off I ever had in 4 years were Saturdays.
Wow. Wow. That's
So I don't want to, and I paid for school myself. I didn't get a scholarship. I got a need-based scholarship for books. They paid my books every month or every semester.
Wow.
And it still wasn't enough. I still had to pay for my books because in psychology, especially when they were about to, because when I went to school, they used the DSM-4. They were talking about upgrading and adding things to it to make it the DSM-5, which is what we use today.
Yeah.
And not for nothing, but to hear her say, I did this and I did this and I had 3 jobs and I worked since I was 13 years old. So didn't I? I joined a multi-level marketing company at 32 years old because that's when I had my son. I was 32.
Yeah.
Anybody can fall victim to this, but it makes me so angry to hear her. She's complaining about having to work 3 jobs during when she was in school.
Yeah. And I think
one of which was waitressing in Times Square, making bank money.
Yeah. That's what I thought when you work
How
in
she got that
Square.
gig?
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Had a job since I was 13. I've never been unemployed. There have been 5 months where I was forced not to work. Okay. 5 months where I was going stir crazy. I thank God for the gym. All right. Thank God. Start a business and you go, hey, why am I not making $1 million yet? Well, you're not going to make $1 million today. You probably won't even make $1 million this year. You might never make $1 million a year, but it's never going to happen if you have a short mindset where everything is, oh, why didn't I make money today? Why didn't I make money, yesterday? Why did I only make $100 this week? What is wrong with you? You get
the reason there's all of these expectations is because the recruiters say, hey, you should be able to make this kind of money. And if they're confused as a leader, why don't you educate better or provide a better outline of what it looks like or what the struggle is going to look like in multi-level marketing? And she is here, sounds so condescending. She sounds so like offended that people would be confused that they're not winning like they see her winning, or they're not even winning. Like it is someone could be confused about, hey, why didn't I even make $100 this week? If they're confused, you can answer their questions. You know what I mean? And don't be offended that someone doesn't understand like why they didn't make the money. So I'm just, I think the tone of voice is like really setting me. And I think she's trying to be
it's the tone. It's the tone that's setting my teeth on edge. It's like I'm being yelled at and scolded by that 5th grade teacher that everybody had that nobody liked.
Yep.
And it's always in 5th grade too. It's always 5th grade. Right before middle school, you get that one teacher
Yep.
that just scolds you and yells at you for absolutely no reason. Now, I get passionate and I get loud. I'm Italian.
Yeah.
I get passionate, I get loud. She's Italian too, and I can understand that. But there's a difference between being passionate and being loud to get your point across. And then there's passionate lying. And I can tell when she's lying because she's not using her hands to talk.
Mm.
She's keeping her hands down. So
Yeah.
when I see her on Instagram or I see her on a Zoom call and she's got her hands down, she's talking about something, she has her hands down, she's projecting that she's passionate about it and she believes in it, but her hands are down. And
Yeah.
she's never looking in the camera when she says it to tell me that she doesn't believe in it, but she wants you to believe it.
Yeah, because her baseline,
And these people eat it up.
Yeah, you're right. Because that is part of her baseline. Using her hands is part of her baseline and how she normally is. So that's very interesting that there's a discrepancy in how when she doesn't use her hands. I think the contempt is hard to hear in her voice too. So it's just, yeah, I think you're right.
That's why she gets loud.
Yep.
That's why she gets loud. So you can't hear the contempt and you can't hear the being disingenuous.
Mm.
The louder you get is to be heard, not to be listened to.
Interesting.
But if
That's
you
the
actually listen to what she's saying, she doesn't believe in it because she thinks it's crap, but she wants her pockets lined. So she's going to say whatever she needs to say to keep the plebes in line and to keep feeding her paycheck.
Yep. Well, that's a good point
She
too.
pulled this Italian crap on me because I'm nope.
You can see right through it. You can see right through it. Yep.
I can.
I love that.
You get paid for your talents. You get paid for your work ethic. If you don't have the 3 of those, and if you're not consistent at all 3 of those, forget it. Sit down, bench yourself. I'm being a little aggressive tonight. What can I say? But so many of you I see literally day after day after day after day overestimating what you're going to do in a very short period of time, and you're completely underestimating what you can do if you actually dedicate your life to greatness. So you got to be consistent. Consistency is everything.
I love that she's talking about consistency, but does that mean consistently ordering from the company? Does that mean consistently showing up to Zoom calls to be exposed to more undue influence? I know what she's being vague about what consistency looks like, but for her, it's important for people to order monthly. It's important for people to recruit so that she can make more money. It's important, these can be taken so many different ways.
Now, I have a question. You might be able to answer it for me.
Okay.
What company was she with or is with? Was she with Prove It when she started this podcast, or was she with Modere when she started the podcast?
I think she had just joined Prove It in 2017.
Okay, so okay.
Yep.
So that makes more sense for me because she is still on the Modere trip because I think wasn't she being sued by Modere at that point too?
Yes.
Or had they already settled?
She was being sued, I think she sued Modere for not paying her out on her commissions, and then she also got sued by Justin Prince, and because she had made some allegations about him, and so the lawsuit, she was sued by I think she was. Let me just double check. I'm just gonna look it up real quick.
I know she sued Modere.
Yep.
For not paying out her commission. Yep. But I'm pretty sure Modere sued her for cross promotion.
She got sued by Advocare when she was in Modere. She got sued by Advocare. She and someone else because they were cross recruiting. So they were raiding other teams to join their Modere team. So she and so if anybody here, if you go to, you have to, it charges you. So like I can download it later. So I wouldn't use this website because you have to pay like 10 cents a page. But
are you on Pacer?
Yeah, you can search here. I'll just share my screen real quick.
See, I'm going to school to become a paralegal.
Cool.
So Pacer's become my friend.
Yes.
uh, that's why I love Emily so very much.
Yes, Emily's
But
amazing.
I love her.
Yes.
But as Charlene said, she's fascinated about how deep her voice has gotten. And I have made an observation towards that.
Okay.
And when your voice gets deeper and you become more quiet, it automatically makes your audience, whether it's a 9-year-old child or a group of 100 or 1,000, the quieter you get, the harder they have to listen. So they're concentrating on every single word.
Oh, that's
So
super
your
insightful.
voice is going to get deeper. She can holler in that deep voice, but it's not for very long. So the deeper that your voice gets, harder your audience has to listen to you.
Wow.
Means they turn up the volume on their devices. It means that they plug in both earbuds or turn up the volume. They cancel everything out. They have nothing else going on in the background, so they can super hyper concentrate on what people are saying. So for her to get real deep in her voice, she slows down the cadence of her voice when there is a certain point that she wants to really get across. She'll slow down the cadence the first time she says it, slightly speed it up the second time she says it, and then by the third time, she's back to her normal tone and normal cadence.
Wow. And
That's why she tends to repeat herself 2 or 3 times.
That's crazy. And that's kind of like that's in the realm of kind of like hypnosis a little bit in terms of like impacting. It's not truly hypnosis, but it's that same idea and I don't remember what part of the light model it is, but it's either, I'm trying to let's see.
I have to start memorizing the bite model.
Yeah, I have
I really
it.
do.
I need to fix my because they're too small, but it's one of those parts of, and you can hear Teal Swan do it. You hear people in Mary Kay do it. They repeat the end of their sentence multiple times, or they repeat words. Lots of people in multi-level marketing, lots of people, and like you just said, Jessie Lee Ward does it too. I need to. Well, I'll try to log into Pacer in a second, but for some reason I need to open my other browser.
It's not that important. We can figure that out later.
Okay. Yeah.
But my whole point is that she started this podcast. Let's say, okay, so she was in Prove It. She wasn't where she is now in 2017, 2018.
Yeah.
So she's going to use when did Stephen Hassan come out with the bite model? Was it 2012 or 2013?
Oh gosh.
I know it wasn't in the late 2000s. It was in between. It was when cult behavior and people were getting rescued out of cults where he was deprogramming them. That he came up with the bite model.
Yeah, and he's been
Now, the book itself could have come out. He's probably been using the bite model for a long time.
Yeah.
But to publish it, I want to say 2013 is when I heard about it.
Okay.
Yeah. With these people, especially like Jessie Lee Ward and WFAB and I'm going across the board, top leaders in general, like Brittany Rose and all of these other people, the ones that are jumping ship from Monet to go to Q Sciences or iGenius.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Everybody thinks that Jessie Lee is setting up to either starting her own MLM or becoming one of those coaches because she's really sick and tired of what Prove It is doing. Because they haven't changed anything up. They haven't added to, except for that nasty keto box food. Blech.
Yep. And she dissed
But
it
at the end of the day,
yeah,
she did. I mean, look at how many people showed up to her event here in the States for the beginning of her tour. how many of these people go on tours? You've got WFAB going on a tour now. It's like, dude, you're not a K-pop group.
Yep. And Game
You know what I
Changer
mean?
by Genius did it too. Yep. Rakan's little sister, Afnan, did it. And they're all doing in it.
It's
They're
so
trying
cool.
to, yeah. It's interesting. I don't want to say it's weird, but it's odd. It's odd. And that's it's very odd.
It's odd behavior. What's even more odd is these people paying good money, whether because Jessie Lee had that meetup in Central Park for $15
Yep.
a ticket to go hang out with her in Central Park, where she had no. This was a last minute thing, and she was charging $15 to meet her.
Yeah. It feels very like early
You're not
2000s.
Cher.
Yeah.
You're not Cher. You're not Britney Spears. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You want to meet the people that make you money, then meet the people who make you money. Don't charge them even more money. And the dumb, I'm going to call it dumb, the dumb behavior of these people who actually paid it blows my mind.
Yeah. Definitely undue influence, in my opinion. Definitely just showing the impact that she has and some of the control she has over the people who still put her on a pedestal. And it's weird because I think it comes across as odd to us because we're not fans of how she treats people. We're not fans of how she runs her business, and then to see people continue to praise her for how she runs her business, it just seems like it's in such a stark contrast with like what we believe about it, what we've seen with it, what Erin Bees has said on her channel about how she has treated people, and to still see so many who are enraptured with her.
And joining it and joining, it's scary. And I think in a way, with what Jessie Lee has with her team, she started her own cult. And I know that's a really loaded thing to say, but how many more people, just people run of the mill that aren't on her team, live in New York City, would pay to see her? Nobody. They might know who she is because she is a top leader in their company, but they're not going to pay $15 to meet a top leader that's not their top leader because they're not indoctrinated the way that her team is. Her team would follow her anywhere she went. And to me, that's a cult within a cult.
Yeah, and
that breaks my heart.
Yeah. Definitely commercial cult vibes, in my opinion. And yeah, gosh.
I don't understand how people can wake up and not have a day full of purpose. For me, I'm actually
I'm only going to say this, and I know I'm being picky. I know anybody can make a podcast. I get it. I know that sound issues are very hard to overcome. If you're going to limit your audience to just audio, in this case with a podcast, and they have nothing to look at and they only have their ears to listen with, why not get a mic so that you can give your audience something better? And I'm critiquing this because she says she has so much money and she continuously won't even record in a soundproof room. I don't have any soundproofing. I get it. I'm not saying that I'm the standard and she's not. I'm not trying to say that. I'm saying it contrasts with what she says she has access to. And then she puts this out and it's not even pleasant to listen to, in my opinion, not just for the content, but it's like she's doing it in her kitchen and you can hear the echo. And that's just me. I know. And
Do you know what she records on?
Avery said she records on her iPad. And again,
Yes,
I'm not
she
trying to
does.
be a list.
She
I'm not.
still does. But the
What?
thing is that she still does. She'll take her trainings and have her iPad in front of her, right? You won't see it. It'll be off camera. But she'll be in her living room in like the infamous bathroom or bathtub training that she did.
Yep.
She records all of her trainings on her iPod, and then just uploads them as podcasts.
Yeah. I guess it's confusing to me. It would hit better if she would just say, like, you know what, I'm gonna do a video podcast. You can watch me and you can listen. And even though I don't have great audio, at least you can see me. But again, she's trying to spread her message across more platforms. Just buy a mic. Just buy a microphone. and that to me,
They're
that's,
like $35 on Amazon, dude. You can get it next day.
yeah, and you can, and if you have an iPad, where is it?
My mom's got her iPad.
Yeah,
I've got my mom's Android right here.
Yeah.
And
You
I'm on my phone right now.
Yeah,
I could easily hook up a mini microphone to this.
Yep, you can buy this little attachment too, and hook up your microphone straight to your iPad or your iPhone. You don't even need a computer. Yes, she's right. You don't even need a computer to do a podcast. And like I set up different things for my clients, and that's why I have these attachments to be able to help them through that. But it's like I just wish I wish that she would take more care. And even I'm glad that she doesn't, but I'm just I guess it's irritating, obviously, to me.
It's nitpicky. We're gonna be nitpicky because we can.
Yeah.
Because we're petty.
As
a community, we're petty, and I live for the pettiness. Okay? But at the end of the day, you've got Instagram, you've got Twitter, you got Facebook, you got YouTube, and you've got podcasting. Those are the 5 major platforms to spread your message, right? You've got her on every single platform to spread her message. Her members, her team will not care what platform she's on.
Yep.
They will follow her wherever she is.
Yep, you're right.
Now there are smart people who know and have listened to her say, "Oh, I'm going to use my iPad to record this and then upload it," and they don't bother listening to the podcast because they've already heard it live, right?
Yep.
But then you've got some diehard fans that will go and listen and rate it and share it and do the things, all because they're trying to get on Jessie V. Ward's radar.
Yeah. Yep, you're right. I guess like my thought is I don't want to post the same things to YouTube that I post on Instagram. Like I will post maybe a 1-minute clip from my YouTube. If you're interested, like hopefully the clip can stand on its own on Instagram. But if you like long form content, maybe come over to YouTube. But I don't want to repeat the same thing across every platform because people go to different platforms for different reasons. And if you're like, what's the point? Like, how are you actually serving your audience? If you repeat the same thing and then say, go follow me on every single platform, for what reason? You don't do anything unique on different platforms. She's certainly not doing it. Then that's my petty moment. We'll just keep playing.
Exactly.
All right.
Purpose. If you hate your life, change your life. If you hate your life, change your life, baby. Okay. That would be good for all of us. That'll be good for friends. That'll be good for family. That'll be good for you. Most importantly, you've got to get out of bed with a fire in your belly. You got to get about how you're going to conquer your life, how everyone is going to influence you and impact you in a positive way, how good things flow to you, how you love yourself, how you forgive yourself for anything you've ever done that you don't approve of currently. You guys, you got to speak life into yourself. I see so many people talking about how I'm just not good at that. I'm worthless.
Yep.
Okay. There's one thing I do agree with her on, and y'all are gonna kill me.
Okay. We're petty, but we're fair here on my on my channel. We can post talk about the good parts too.
People, exactly. I agree with her on this part. And that is, you do have to speak life into yourself. You have to be kind to yourself. But there's a difference between speaking life into yourself, taking those positive affirmations, so that way you're more kind to yourself. Because especially as women, we are horrible to ourselves. We are our strongest critics, our worst critics.
Mm.
But to sit there and say, oh, I can't do that, I'm not good at that. Well, it might be true. They may have tried and tried and tried and tried, and they may not be good at it. They may not be good at going live on Instagram because, one, they don't realize how daunting it is to try to build an audience just off of lives. They may have an easier time doing lives on Facebook because it's their friends and family.
Yeah.
But then you're turning your friends and family into a commodity. And that's where the disconnect for me happens. Be kinder to yourselves. Absolutely. Be kinder to yourselves. Try something different every day. Like, this is different for me. I haven't been live on YouTube in 4 years.
Wow.
Yeah. The only way you can get used to it is if you jump into it.
Yeah.
If you, as Chelsea says, just do it.
Mm-hmm.
Your first few videos are going to suck.
Yep.
And then you're going to get feedback, and then you're going to get better.
Yeah.
And that's what every single YouTuber has ever said.
Yeah.
You just have to do it.
Yep.
But where the disconnect for me happens with Jessie Lee saying this is that she's trying to force people into a positive mindset to block out the negative and to only be positive, which is toxic positivity.
Yep.
Do not acknowledge the negatives that are happening in your life. You have no choice. If you're broke, you're broke.
Yep.
It's not a negative mindset. It's the truth.
Yep. And there absolutely is a difference between speaking life into yourself and talking to yourself kindly and employing thought-stopping cult-like techniques. And she falls on the side of thought-stopping, reframing reality, all of the things that tick the boxes for undue influence. And so that's the difference. We're not, and I think it's important to note the difference because people are still going to say like, well, is speaking positively still important? It is, but positive can exist in the same room as negative too. Bad things still happen to people. You know what I mean? Like there are bad situations, and not acknowledging them is not healthy, if that makes sense. So, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You got to acknowledge the negative. You can't just stare and block out the negative behavior. So let's just say I went live on my page, and my friends and family came on, and they were being, Tanya, are you sure about this? This looks like a scam. Be careful. And then you've got Jessie Lee saying, block those people out. You're gonna cut off your friends and family because they think they're trying to protect you.
Yep.
No, that's where the disconnect happens.
Yeah.
There's a big, bold line between toxic positivity and cult-like behavior and the truth.
Yep.
You need to speak life into yourself, and that's, body positivity. That's a big part of body positivity and getting rid of toxic diet culture is just loving yourself for who you are and what body you're in, who you are as a person, what can you bring to the table, instead of changing your personality to the point where it's unrecognizable to your family.
Yeah. Yep.
And you push them away.
Yep.
For what? A bunch of strangers that are going to turn their back on you the minute that you realize that you were taken advantage of, and you realize that you were in a commercial cult.
Yep. Absolutely. And Charlene said, which in turn blocks people close to you who may have constructive criticism from a place of caring about your well-being. And
Amen, Charlene.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yep. That's what happened with me. I lost a lot of friends when I joined Unique because I turned into that super annoying person on Facebook with the memes for positivity
Yeah.
and life affirmation, and I turned, it was, positive, 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 no negative whatsoever, and I turned into one of the most toxic people you could ever meet because I refuse to acknowledge the negative.
Yeah. And yeah, I can't say any better, so I'm just
But that's where I agree with her.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
that's, to bring it back, that's where I agree with her, is that you need to speak life into yourself and give yourself a chance.
Yep.
But there's a big disconnect where she goes from here to the jump of people don't agree with you, or people are saying that this is a scam and they're being constructive about it and they're just saying, look, be careful.
Yeah.
That's the disconnect for me.
Absolutely.
Hi, Karina.
Tongue scraper right now and just wipe that off my tongue. I can't even believe I said that. You have got to speak life into yourself. You have to speak abundance into yourself. You have to speak belief in yourself the second the feet touch the ground. And don't sit around and talking to myself, so much visualizing my day, so much writing down my goals. I write my power list, which is just 5 things that I promise I will do every single day so I can win my day. It's from Andy Frisella. I do that every day before I even get out of bed, guys, and it sets my day up for success. And so if you aren't setting yourself up for success, you're setting yourself up for failure. Okay? You've got to be consistent in everything you do. The way people work, the way we all work, the way the human race works is people look for consistency. People are attracted to consistency. You're attracted to this in everything you do. You're attracted to consistency, which is why you go to Starbucks. You know Starbucks is going to consistently deliver you the same disgusting overpriced coffee every single day. That's why you go there. You look for stable people in relationships. It's why you might have married a man or a woman that you know you shouldn't have, but they're consistently there. They're there all the time. Consistency, la, 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 la. That's the reason why you have the job that doesn't serve you, because you know consistently you can go there and you can consistently get your paycheck. Or at least you think so. I don't know. Maybe your job shuts down. Who even knows?
Well, I think talking to the multi-level marketing reps who had their accounts terminated for just associating with people who weren't someone that the multi-level marketing company liked, I think, it plays both ways, Jessie Lee. It plays both ways because there is a certain amount of an amount of uncertainty in any job, and I'm not really fond of her painting something in such a limited light to benefit her story and how she's speaking. And I'm just not a fan. I'm not a fan at all.
She puts a spotlight on things to black out what she doesn't want seen.
That's so good.
If you've been on stage, I used to do theater. I'm a theater dork and a chorus dork and a band geek.
Love that.
I loved it. I did. I wasn't a popular kid, but man, I had so much fun. So, but when they put a spotlight on it, because of the amount of brightness that's going down in one area, it blacks everything else out around it. Right?
Yep.
So she's going to spotlight what she wants said and wants heard and wants learned to black out everything else. Undue influence, toxic positivity, commercial cult tactics are in play immediately as soon as she spotlights, that job that may shut down.
Yep. That's such a good point.
Pisses me off. Sorry for cussing.
No, you can cuss. We do the cursey words here, just like, and people know. People have a heads up.
I'm trying to keep it under control because I've got my 9-year-old right here. So, but at the end of the day, she will spotlight anything to black everything else out.
Yep. That's such a good way to describe what she does and what so many other multi-level marketing top pyramid performers do, is they hyper focus on one thing and it blacks out everything else. Just like it spotlights one thing and then it blacks everything else out.
Yep. They'll spotlight one thing to black out the criticism of it
Yep.
so they don't see it. Because
Yep.
you've got the blinders on, you've got when you're in an MLM, you've got the blinders on because they immediately start hitting you with the love bombing
Yep.
and the welcome messages before you even received your product back. Before you've even been onboarded, you're immediately bombarded with people saying, "Oh my God, welcome to the team. You're going to love it. We love you. You're going to do awesome. You're going to kill it," right?
Yep.
And then you start going to the trainings and you've built up your blinders. So when they say, and you could still possibly be working, right? Let's just
Yeah.
say you have a part-time job because that's all you can get. Then you have someone like Jessie Lee come to you and say in your training, "Well, you've got this and it's consistent." You might be going, and then you might be going to your part-time job that might shut down. You've got your blinders on, but you hear that it might shut down. It's going to put a fear, panic into you.
Yep.
Oh my God, my consistent income. I've got to work harder at this so I can achieve these levels so I can leave before they leave me.
Yeah. Yep.
Just like the community aspect of it. You want to leave them before they can leave you so it doesn't hurt as bad.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
These days, everyone seems to be a criminal these days. All these major corporations.
Oh, here we go.
About it. I'm digressing a
The
little bit.
demonizing of corporations.
Yep.
You look at the internet, and I love that if you look at like when the last generation or even 2 generations ago would a product would come out, you could scam anybody. You know what I mean? Like you could put out a health and wellness supplement and you could promise that it was going to like pull the fat off your butt. It was going to give you great mental clarity. You were going to have clear skin. You were going to whatever. Okay. People could say all of these things and it could be 100% a lie. You could be reading from the book of lies. Okay. Liza Minnelli's. Okay. Or you could lie. These companies could still make multi millions of dollars because it took.
Okay, but in a traditional marketplace, if a product doesn't do what it says it's going to do, people aren't going to buy it. If a company can't last in a traditional market, it can't last like to the consumer scrutiny of something. And if something doesn't work, someone's not going to buy it. And you're probably going to tell your friends, "Hey, that doesn't work. You shouldn't buy it." Her story isn't accurate.
Word of mouth.
It's not accurate. Again.
So long for our parents to get the information from the newspaper or the radio to other people. By the time they've made multi-millions of dollars and by the time the general public knows it's a scam, Joe Blow, Liza Minnelli is already gone. They've already cashed their checks. Do you see what I'm saying?
I thought that's what the Federal Trade Commission has taken people to court for scams and stuff. And so she's saying that there's no enforcement when I thought there was.
Okay, there is enforcement. However, as Savannah Marie has said, they don't have a task force to go out there and police these MLMs. They don't have a task force to go out and answer every single FTC complaint that we throw in, which I throw in at least 3 daily for income claim, health claim, straight up lies, whatever, right? But the FTC has taken Advocare, prime example. They shut them down. They sued them and then they shut them down. Yep. Herbalife had to completely restructure themselves. Why? Yep. Because they were a pyramid scheme. They took them to court and they lost.
Yeah. And they were making health claims. They had to pay an $850 million fine in the 80s, which I think that's the largest fine any multi-level marketing company has had to pay for doing bad stuff. And again, Advocare now is, I think, only direct. It's one level, so it's a coach signing up and selling product. Yep. So. Hi, Andrea.
They have Hi, Andrea. They have direct. It's a direct sales company with W-2 employees. They no longer have 1099 contractors.
Okay.
But to get to her point, right? You've got lies, 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 lies. Your parents and your grandparents relied on the newspaper, right? Let's just take an editorial in a newspaper.
Yep.
And everybody knows an editorial is someone's opinion.
Yeah.
Someone wrote an editorial about this product that they swear to God it works. Come see me. I can sell you the product, blah, blah, blah. They used it at their spot and in the newspaper because they work for the newspaper to advertise their MLM product. I'm sure this has happened in the past. I can almost guarantee it. But because it was their opinion and because it was in the newspaper, they can no longer call it libel or slander when they say it didn't work, they lied, they did this, they did that. Guess what? It was their opinion. But now with the internet, these people are stating opinion as fact. It's going to give you mental clarity. It's going to take the fat off your butt and put it in your boobs.
Yep.
They're gonna. It's gonna change your life. It's gonna cure cancer. Right? We've heard them all but say that.
Yeah. And
my aunt just passed away from cancer.
uh,
She was part of Young Living for years.
Yep.
I mean, years. I have fibromyalgia. She tried selling me almost $600 worth of oils to cure my fibromyalgia.
Yep.
She just died from cancer. The worst is she died from colon and liver cancer. They gave her 4 months to live. She lived for 16 or 18 months. Because she fought hard and she did every treatment possible. Did she use oils? Nope. Oils didn't save her life. But she went around, made health claims,
Yep.
made income claims for years.
Yeah.
And when she got out, when she met her husband, he got her out and she came to me and apologized.
Wow.
She came to my mother and apologized.
Wow.
So at the end of the day, the oil companies really get my back up, but people like Jessie Lee Ward, where they state opinion as fact.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they haven't gotten sued by the FTC.
Yeah,
That's the difference between an editorial and what they're doing now.
Yep, and they're confusing. They're certainly harming consumers. They're certainly harming consumers.
Now, in
They're
addition,
lying to consumers.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
Scam people. You can't put out a product that doesn't work. It'll hit the market and we're going to expose it in 30 seconds or less. Have you guys noticed that? It's so powerful. So you've got to be consistent. I love that. You look at Sears shutting down. You look at
We just said that.
the Best Buys of the
We
world.
should let it play.
You look at all of these storefronts that we thought were going to be around forever, ever, and they're all shutting down. Why? Because they sell overpriced garbage and we as consumers have access to it. So I love that because here's what we do as a human race. We look for consistency. We look for quality. We have access to information overload. You have more information in the palm of your hand right now.
How does she get past the argument that people aren't buying things because they're overpriced, and in the same breath sell us a product that has profit built in to pay however many downlines and uplines with her multi-level marketing product?
Just out of curiosity, 1 month of Prove It is somewhere around $80, correct?
It's more than that. It's only so the $80.
Is it more than that? Am I thinking Thrive? That's like $80.
Yeah.
Let's take Thrive instead because they do the patches, right?
Yep.
So you can do the patches for energy.
Yeah.
And it's going to cost you about $80 for 30 days.
Yeah.
I can go and buy pre-workout from Alani Nu for $25 and it'll last me a month and it's great. Gives me the same amount of energy so I can get motivated to get housework done, so I can try to get up and start moving and start walking, etc. it gives you that extra boost of energy. I'm not going to sit there and wear a patch on me where it's not FDA cleared. You don't know what's in it. So as Jessie Lee said, we're on the internet. It takes 30 seconds to debunk it. We've debunked it. The products are garbage for the most part. I'm sure in Arbonne, like JJ said, she liked the protein powders.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You might have 1 in a million products that people like, and the rest are garbage, but you've got distributors and customers that are going to continue to buy the garbage because, unfortunately, to buy the good, you got to buy the bad.
Yeah. Yep. Andrea said the fact that they can do 40% discounts all the time goes to show how big their margins are, because they still likely make their profit at that price. They do. Talk and prove it, but they're all the same. Yes, they make a profit. They make the money they need to make when they sell anything to anyone who buys something from their company. So there's a huge margin built in to multi-level marketing products. And the issue I take is not a business working profit into their product. The issue I take is her arguing one point here and then participating in even a worse way in her own multi-level marketing company. For sure.
And generations before us could ever have even thought about. Here I go. I digress again. I was talking to somebody whose grandmother turned 100 years old the other day, which I thought was so cool.
Get better audio.
He was flying from Perth back home to Melbourne. And I was like, what are you flying home for? He says, oh, I'm flying home to celebrate my grandmother's 100th birthday. I was like, that's so cool. He's like, yeah, think about it. Think of what she's lived through. And I was like, can you imagine what it was like in 1920? Like, can you imagine what it was like in 1918, right? Like, take a second. Like 1918, the thought of cell phones, nerp. It's a nerp for me. Like the thought of even stuff like treadmills, the thought of like, I'm looking at a microwave. I'm looking at, a really crazy refrigerator with all this digital ice making and whatever. I'm looking at a laptop. I'm looking at really good makeup. I'm looking at all of this stuff around me. And in 1918, forget about it. The thought didn't even exist. Right. And so I think that's so powerful that we as people have the ability and the capacity to change everything if we're consistent. Right. You're going to get.
I mean, people had all of those breakthroughs in technology because we have scientists and inventors and people working in those fields. And again, she's promoting this to prove her point about consistency. And she shames people for being in those type of jobs. At the same time. Oh.
What she's leaving out of that conversation of 1918, 1920 is the fact that they were in a Great Depression.
Yep.
Okay. My grandmother was the first generation off the boat from Ireland. So I'm Italian and Irish. And a bunch of other things, but mostly Italian and Irish. My grandmother was dirt poor. My grandfather was born in 1918. As my grandmother said, he was rich because he could afford the rubber band to tie his shoes together so that the sole wouldn't come from the top of the shoe.
Mm.
My grandfather was rich compared to her because he could afford a rubber band.
Wow.
A rubber band. Okay. That's what she's leaving out. The woman who lived for 100 years saw a Great Depression, lived through it, survived it without MLM shitty products.
Yeah.
And I feel bad for Jada because there are some companies that are not MLM products do have energy patches for people who can't take pre-workout for whatever reason. There are energy patches out there online. I'm sure there are, and they're probably going to be half the price of what it is for Thrive or whatever, because she gets dermatitis.
Yep.
That sucks. My son has to have patched on. He's diabetic, so he has to wear his pancreas on one arm and his CGM, which is his blood glucose monitor, on his back.
Mm.
Okay?
Yeah.
If these people who lived through the Depression would have relied on MLMs because Avon was around back then.
Yep.
Mary Kay had just started not too long after the Depression. I'm sure that there were other direct sales companies and multi-level marketing schemes back then and pyramid schemes which led to people killing themselves because they lost all of their money during the Great Depression.
Mm.
I've got direct family members who lived through it, who told stories about it. So, yes, meanwhile, it was cool that this woman lived for 100 years, lived through the Depression, could talk about it, seen great jumps of technology, the 2,000-year leap in 200 years. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And all of these people did it without shitty MLM products.
Yep.
Knocked down. You're going to get people
Oh,
telling
that's
you
awesome
you're gonna
data.
get people that are naysayers, that are haters, that are whatever. It doesn't matter as long as you're consistent in everything you do. Right? Okay. So here's the thing. A lot of us are all excited about residual income. A lot of us get really fired up when we think, oh my gosh, let me think of my rental properties.
Again, get better audio, Jessie Lee.
Let me play the
Get a
stock
mic.
market, do all of these financial decisions. Guys, here's the fact of the matter. Residual income is way harder than you think, especially if you're an in again, out again loser, okay? The only people who win in this life are the consistent people. You can't win a day and expect to win a week, expect to win a year, expect to win a life. You got to win every single day, not today, every single day. You can't just win Tuesday. You got to win Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and press repeat. You know what you need to do? When someone goes, how long do you work a day? I say, 25 hours, 8 days a week, baby. Get on board with me if you're trying to win with me. I'm kidding. I wouldn't say that to somebody, probably freak them out.
She would say something like that just to people. She does say
She
stuff.
has said something like that.
Yeah, she said she is the hardest worker in the room, that no one's going to outwork her, that she has said it like that. She just said, oh, I don't say it like that because she, maybe is uncomfortable with people believing that she is that type of way. And it's like, okay, Jessie Lee, okay.
You've got to be super consistent. People have this big dream of residual income, but they think that if you work a day out of the week, you're going to have residual income. It doesn't work like that. It does not work like that. Let me say it again for the cheap seats in the back. It doesn't work like that, guys.
I mean, it works for people like, let's say, Chelsea, who has AdSense on all of her videos. And when she makes a video, she doesn't have to go back to that video, continue to promote that video. People who are interested in that content will find it, they watch it, and then she is paid for the work she's already done. And I'm just using YouTube as an example because in multi-level marketing, you have to continually add to your median and lower levels in the compensation pyramid that you are plugged into, because if you don't have customers or independent reps buying the volume, you're not going to get paid. And that's it. And because they're constantly falling off, you have to constantly be adding them. And she says all the time, she recruits all the time. And so, like, how is that residual? It doesn't seem like it's residual to me.
Well, the funny thing is about residual income, Jessie Lee Ward will get residual income off of her YouTube channel if she has it monetized, right? Only because she's got such a huge downline, she doesn't have to add new content. These people, because of Betty the Bot. Betty the Bot is her YouTube channel and the videos.
Yep.
Her systems are old training videos. She will get a residual income. Her lab partners will get residual income. Anybody lower than that, if they don't work the business, adding to it, never going to get there.
Yep.
Think about syndicated TV shows. All right, I can only think of, off the top of my head, 3. I've got like the Oprah Winfrey Show in my head. I got Friends in my head. In Seinfeld, I know there's a Judge Judy. Actually, I think is syndicated too. I got 4. Okay, 4 syndicated TV shows. How many thousands of famous actors are there out there?
There's more than 4 syndicated. Okay, hold on. Okay. How many?
Oh, there's tons. What genre do you want to go in? You could go Judge Judy. You could go talk shows. You could go cartoons.
Yeah.
I
Or
mean,
game
Blossom.
shows. Yep.
Blossom. That was like my favorite show forever. Was syndicated. It's no longer around. You could probably find it on YouTube, but she's not getting any money off of that. What she's getting money off of, what Maya Bialik is getting money off of, because Big Bang Theory was syndicated.
Yeah. Yep.
That's where she's getting her residuals from.
Yeah. And there's all these TV shows that have guest slots. So she's saying there's a lot of actors and not a lot of shows for them to be on. But lots of these shows have spots for other actors. So it's like it's not an impossible thing that if you want to be an actor to be able to be a part of a TV show, even if you're not the main headliner on it. So I just
Right.
because she only knows
Look at Britney
4.
Spears. She was on wasn't How I Met Your Mother. Was it How I Met Your Mother? Or another show. Britney Spears was a recurring guest on one of those syndicated sitcoms.
Okay.
And
Okay.
she was on it quite a few times. She was a recurring guest. She gets residuals. And as far as NCIS goes, I don't know. If you can find NCIS on another channel like TNT, TBS, that's where typically the syndicated shows go to after they're done, after they've retired
Okay.
and stop filming. That's typically where the syndicated shows are going to be. It's like TNT, TBS.
Gotcha.
Hulu will pick up syndicated shows, Netflix sometimes.
Yep.
But if you're looking at cable, go to TBS, TNT. Usually
Gotcha.
those syndicated shows will be there.
Gotcha.
I was in radio and TV for 3 years. So I
That's
know
amazing.
stuff too.
That's cool.
And you think that by working one day, by being on one TV show, by showing up to one rehearsal, by going to one acting class, you're gonna
What?
This is not DC. This is her recording content. Isn't it wonderful?
Okay.
being very laser focused on what you do. You need to start planning your day. If you're somebody who's willy-nilly all over the place, ADD, ADHD, AD whatever, OCD, whatever, I probably got half this stuff anyway too, which is why.
Sorry, it keeps getting cut out, Sonic. It sounds fine on my end. It might be lagging on but my internet looks okay. Maybe you refresh if you're having an issue, and if anyone else is having audio issues,
Well,
just let me know.
It's cutting out for me too. I'm just letting you know.
Okay, I didn't realize that. Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah.
It might.
No, you're fine.
It might buffer correctly once the live stream ends.
I know
Okay, that sounds good.
I know I've got.
But yes, you did record on a potato, Karina.
Hello, everybody. What's going on? It's Jessie Lee.
Whoops,
you can also call me
guys.
Boss Lee, and I'm super excited to be doing this. You work a day. I say out 25 cheap seats in the back. It doesn't work like that, guys. Think about syndicated TV shows. All right, I can only think of even, and you're gonna have residual income for the rest of your life, baby. It doesn't work like that. That's not how residuals work. So you got to be consistent. All right, you can't have this. Let me just be part time. There's nothing wrong with being part time if you understand that part time work is part time pay. All right. When I was 13 years old in the ice cream shop, I knew it was part time money. I knew it was part time pay. I knew, just like you knew, just like you know, when you're working part-time, you get paid part-time. You can't work part-time and expect to get paid full-time. It does not work like that. So you've got to start directing your life. You've got to start taking your life and directing it in the way you want it to go. You've got to start being very laser focused on what you do. You need to start planning your day. If you're somebody who's willy-nilly all over the all over the place,
There you go.
What happened? Now, I could be wrong, but when you're watching a recruiting video or recruiting anything from Jessie Lee Ward, it's called work full-time or work part-time and get full-time money. What happened to that? Now you got to work not in just pockets of your time, but you've got to work a full-time job at this while you are a single parent, stay-at-home mom, whatever.
Yeah.
That was my situation. Was not only was I a single parent, first-time parent, I was a stay-at-home parent because I lost my job at Home Depot, which was great money.
Yeah.
That's a story that happens on my channel about what happened there. But at the end of the day, now she's saying you got to work full time in order to get these residuals. Well, unfortunately, she obviously doesn't know how TV, television, radio, movies work, because that's exactly how it works. You get paid up front for, well, okay, let's take Johnny Depp, for example. Okay. He's not getting residuals for 21 Jump Street anymore. And he's not getting residuals for, it all depends on the contract, how long they get residuals for. It could be for life.
Yeah.
Warner Brothers does a lot of for life contracts with their main stars for their movies. So let's just say Fantastic Beasts, where he was in the movie, he wasn't in it very much, but he was a pivotal character. He could get residuals for life.
Mm.
Or sometimes what they'll fight for is in the estates of these people. Let's take Betty White, for example. She was still getting residuals for Golden Girls. Her estate could go after those residuals.
Okay.
Because Golden Girls was being syndicated on some random channel. I found it. I think it was like Hallmark or something. It was something weird on cable.
Okay.
But I found it and I would start watching Golden Girls, okay?
Yeah.
So she was still getting residuals from Golden Girls. Her estate could go after those residuals because they're still making money off of Betty White's name and character.
I'm learning so much.
So that's exactly how residuals work.
Wow.
How residuals work we've got a visitor.
Oh, so cute. Oh my
This
god.
is one of my Yorkies. His name is Oliver.
Oh my goodness. So
Oh,
cute.
hello.
We love
That's Oliver. Oh, he's a floofy butt. He's got the best size ever. But how residuals work in MLM is you've constantly got to add to your downline. So your residuals, even if you're not truly working the business, you're doing your personal sales volume, and that's it. But you're constantly adding people to your bottom.
Yeah.
So you still stay here, get your money, and barely have to work. But you have to be at a level like Jessie Lee or the Lab to be able to get that kind of money.
Yeah, and it would actually be a residual situation if your IP address was let's say your customer buys something and uses your account number. And let's say if the company actually captured their IP address or their phone address or whatever it is, so when they decided to randomly order the next time and they didn't necessarily put your number in, you would still get paid off of that in a multi-level marketing situation. Because if they don't use your number, you're not getting paid on it. And that's why I think they want you to sign up as an independent contractor under them, because then it's for sure you're going to get paid out on any purchases. Oh. Oh.
This is Liberty.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
Say
Puppy break.
hi.
Puppy break. So cute.
The crazy dogs, they've been playing. Karina. That's funny. And my son's super excited. He's autistic too. He's sitting here flapping right now because mommy's on YouTube.
Well, we love the breaks. We love the guest appearances. So always welcome.
Whatever, OCD, whatever, I probably got half this stuff anyway too, which is why I know I've got to direct my life. I know I've got to stay focused on the task at hand. I know I've got to be very consistent in everything I do. I know I've got to have laser vision on where I want to go, okay? You are not going to hit your targets if you're not focusing on them. If you're not focusing on going even past your targets, you're not going to hit your targets. Guys, we all know this, shoot for the star or the moon. Even if you miss, you'll land among the stars. So you got to go, go, go. You can't say, oh, today was a really good day in business. Let me take my foot off the gas. Guys, look at a rocket ship. Let's use another example of outer space, okay? Rocket ships get into space how? Full-blown, extra speed, ridiculous momentum. The rocket explodes off the ground immediately. The amount of force, the amount of effort, the amount of intensity that it takes to get that rocket into the stratosphere, into the atmosphere, into outer space is out of control. Then it gets to outer space and then it's residual. Then it kind of floats around. Then it goes to the satellites and does its thing and lands on the moon, lands on Mars, lands on wherever the heck it's going to land, whatever. It doesn't get there without the massive momentum. So I see so many of you out there trying to run businesses, trying to build businesses, trying to start businesses. Yet you're not being a rocket ship. You're being like a Ford Pinto. Let me talk to 10 people today. Let me talk to one person today. I don't feel like following up. Oh, I'm so busy. You're not busy. You're lazy. There's a difference, okay? You've got to be all out massive action. Nobody's going to respect somebody who puts their foot on the gas and takes it off, puts their foot on the gas and takes it off, puts their foot on the gas, takes it off, puts their foot.
I mean, if you're driving in traffic, I think it's pretty respectful to not crash in the person in front of you. But I know that's not what she's meaning her her analogy to be or her story to
I
be.
take my foot off the gas all the time. I can control my car with the gas pedal. I don't very rarely use the brake.
Yeah.
But I
Yep.
understand what she's talking about.
Yes.
The stop
Yep.
and go.
Yep. I get what she's saying. I
It
think
would
that
have been easier for her to stop and go.
yeah.
The gas, takes it off, puts her foot on the gas, takes it off. All that accomplishes is a butt scratch. You ever been in a car where someone takes their foot on the gas and your butt scooting along the seat? That is no way to travel. That is no way to get to your destination. That is no way to go into your greatness. That is no way to impress a single human being. It doesn't work like that. You cannot be part-time, some at the time, a little bit at a time, and whenever I feel like at a time. No, it needs to be all the time, okay? It's just the same way of anything. This isn't even just a business thing. You can't be partially in on your family and then on the weekends be a hoop to ho, okay? Not going to work like that. Husband's going to leave you. Wife's going to leave you. Kids are going to look at you some type of way. You've got to be all in on everything. And I cannot accept the excuse that there's not enough time in the day because we all got 24 hours. How do I have 24 hours to accomplish what I have to accomplish? How does Bill Gates have 24 hours to accomplish all things he accomplishes? Yet you're sitting there, I just don't even have time. You had time to message me back on Facebook when I asked you, hey, how can I help you? I just don't have time. You've been piddling around on Facebook. You do have time.
Oh my
And you know what?
God.
Here's something else that bothers me. Here we go. Here's a pet peeve.
I'm
What Karina said wrapped it. It did that. She wins the internet today.
Yep.
Oh God,
Yep.
what Karina said.
Yep.
She wins the internet. I'm sorry. She won.
I think Karina wins the internet most days. So, oh my gosh.
She does. Greatest stuff. You got to get her on here. I would rate her.
Karina, if you want to hop on, let me know.
For all you, I just don't have time. I'm part-time. I'm part-time. I don't understand this because if I go on Facebook Messenger right now, okay, well, I don't even know if I can do it right now while I'm on here with you. If I were to go to Facebook Messenger and I were to see how many people are active right now at 12:24 a.m. on a Tuesday night, I think it's a Tuesday night, not too sure. Okay. Facebook will tell me that it's like, I don't know, it's a couple hundred people, maybe it's 1,000 people. I don't know. I got the 5,000 Facebook. Oh, no, here we go. Only 280 people are active right now. Okay, great. People are sleeping, people are whatever. Pretty much only business builders are maybe awake right now. Whatever, perfect. Okay, y'all, I'm gonna get back to you on the number of active users out of 5,000 tomorrow afternoon. Because I'll tell you what happens every single day of the week, Monday through Friday. All right. When y'all are supposed to be working on your full-time jobs, not your businesses. I'm at work. I'm working right now. I'm at work. Y'all are tra-la-lying on Facebook. Every day I have over 2,000 active users on my Facebook.
I don't understand the logic. The logic does not seem to play out how she says stuff, because she always judges.
I don't understand what she's saying.
I don't either. I mean, I think she's saying that people are saying they don't have any time, but they have enough time to message her back. Well, if she's telling them about a sales opportunity or buying something and they were already interested, then why is that an issue? Yeah. The logic of her podcasts, it doesn't seem like there's an overarching theme that's consistent throughout. Oh, another floof. Oh my goodness.
He's really floofy. This is Moose.
Moose. Oh my gosh, the best name. We love a floof break.
Because he's a moose. He's a moose.
Yes. She makes so many assumptions about people, then shames them. Yep. I think that's fair.
Messenger.
I think that's more than fair.
Yep.
Y'all are procrastinators. Y'all are not time management people. You are all over the place, willy-nilly, ADD, not spending any time on anything productive, wasting your time. Don't tell me you don't have time to do your business. Don't tell me you don't have time to message 10 people.
I'm also curious that she is using an actual neurodivergency to shame people and to describe how they cannot focus on something. And I don't necessarily, people who have ADHD, it's actually something that impacts their life in an incredible, difficult way. And you have to make a lot of accommodations for it. And then she's flippantly using it to say like, oh, those are just those people who can't function normally. And it's like, you can't, she's using it, I think, in the wrong context, and she's using it inappropriately.
Don't tell me you don't have
I
time
think
to
so. I've got ADHD. Oh, go ahead.
No, you're good. I'll
out your organization. Don't tell me you don't have time to do a Facebook Live. Don't tell me you don't have time to have some customer support. Don't tell me you don't have time to reach out to human beings. Don't tell me you don't have time to do some research and development on your products. Don't tell me you don't have time to go to the gym. Don't tell me you don't have time to take care of your relationships at home. Don't tell me you don't have time to go out to lunch with your friends and family. You're living on Facebook, you big liar. You big liar. And I don't care if you lie to me, but you're lying to yourself. You're lying to your family. You're lying to all these people that you claim to care about. I don't think so. I'm going to call you out. All right. I just can't accept it. Okay. I can't.
I'm going to call Jessie Lee right now. Let's go. All right. If she ever watches this, probably not. Or the lab people, or, whoever comes across this video, I'm calling Jessie Lee out right now. If you want us to work this business as hard as you do, that means at least an 18-hour day. That leaves, 6 hours to sleep?
Yeah.
Eat, go to the gym, work on your personal relationships, go live on Facebook, do all the things in 24 hours. When are you supposed to sleep? When are you supposed to recover? When are you supposed to have time for self-care? As a person with adult onset ADHD because of the fibromyalgia, I have to take medication at certain times of the day in order for me to focus, in order for me to function, in order for me to get things done. I'm on a plethora of medications just to get through my day. I have to sleep. I can't be sitting here working a business 18 hours a day, going live on Facebook, live on Instagram, starting a podcast, working the business, collecting customer. And I say collecting very purposefully. Because that's what you're doing. You're not gaining customers, you're collecting them like Pokemon cards.
Yep.
They're a commodity to be traded. So if your upline, your direct upline leaves, right, which typically they do,
Yeah.
you move up to that next person. You're traded like a Pokemon card. You're moved to this upline because they need to make rank. So you're being traded, and let's say you have a downline, your downline comes with you. And in some MLMs, they don't. They steal it from you. So then you're back at 0.
Mm.
So Jessie Lee, please tell me if I'm supposed to come work for you, when I'm supposed to be able to take care of myself, take care of my son, take care of my friends, and work the business. Tell me, give me a timeline, and I'll do it. It's not a just do it kind of situation. That's what they're telling you. And in these trainings, they don't give you a timeline like from 7 to 10, answer emails, answer messages, etc. You are on demand answering messages no matter what time of day it is, no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing.
Yeah.
How many, MLM fails do we watch? I have time freedom. I have location freedom. I can work from anywhere. Meanwhile, they're at their pappy's funeral answering messages about a business that doesn't give a flying fart in space about you.
Yeah. Yeah. Or they're doing it from their hospital bed, or they're doing it from like any other situation where you should be able to rest and recuperate or just not be plugged into social. And then you get shamed for not, working the business in every single pocket of time. You're absolutely right, Tanya.
Jada has a question about fibromyalgia that I'm going to answer right now. And
Okay.
yes, that is a thing that fibromyalgia can cause. It's called brain fog. They call it fibro fog. And what most doctors will do is they'll treat it as adult onset ADHD. I have fibro fog and ADHD. This is my miracle drug. Whoops. Lost my earpiece. This here is my miracle drug. It's Lyrica. It prevents my nerves from firing, and it clears up the fibro fog. If I run out of this, I'm in my bed 12 hours a day because I can barely move.
Wow.
And I have an active 9-year-old. So please tell me when I'm supposed to work a business when I run out and the pharmacy's dicking around.
Yeah. Yep. Jada
That's
said
what fired me up.
Yeah. Jada said that she has fibro fog, and that's why she was asking. Well, I'm glad that you could help someone.
Talk to your doctor. I'm being dead serious. Talk to your doctor about your fibro fog. They may prescribe you an ADHD medication to help clear that up.
That's awesome. That's amazing.
I'm on Vyvanse. 30 milligrams, but I'm on Vyvanse.
That's awesome. Well, I'm glad that you can share that knowledge, because I know lots of people struggle, and not everyone has doctors who can help them, or doctors who have been able to help them, and getting more information is always beneficial.
Absolutely. And I know that the medical profession, especially for fibromyalgia patients, is difficult and heartbreaking and angering and frustrating because you have to find the right doctor that actually believes what you're saying.
Yeah. Yep.
I've been through so many tests, it's ridiculous. I mean, nerve tests, which are painful, Lyme disease tests, lupus tests. Fibromyalgia is a conclusionary diagnosis. When you don't have any of those other things, they throw you in under the fibro umbrella. So if you have severe fibro fog, talk to your doctor. They may prescribe you an ADHD medication to help clear that up.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Can't accept it because I've seen
You're
people who
welcome.
work their business quote unquote part-time who make way more in a full-time income than you do sitting behind a desk, or you do working your quote unquote full-time business, yet you're not working full-time hours because you're tiddlywinking all over Facebook, Instagram, social media, reading too many blogs. Look, I love me a funny dirty meme more than the next girl, more than likely. Okay, I really do. I have a very interesting sense of humor. All right. But I know how to reel it back in. I know how to work my business. I know how to make sure I win my days. I know how to make sure I'm doing the things I need to do to make sure my business is exploding at all times. I know I have to personally develop every day. I know who I need to reach out to. I know that I need to make sure that I am consistently doing all the things. So do not sometimes try to work your business. Do not can I please work part-time and make full-time pay? Somebody lied to you. Somebody lied to you. So
I mean, the
Your
sales.
downline lie.
Yeah. Yep. And it's an inadvertent. Sometimes it's intentional, where like the salesperson, the independent consultant, is saying whatever they can to close the sale, because a lot of people don't know how to close sales in general. And so then they fall into the trap of saying non-compliant things or whatever the person in front of them wants to hear. So, and there's also this thing where they're watching from afar these social media accounts of these big leaders in network marketing, and they're looking like, well, this person's online all the time. They're posting stories, they're posting feed posts, they're posting reels, and they're flying around the world. I can do that too. So she is setting an example, and then people are confused. And I would be confused too if I was on her team, or in general, watching these top people be online 18 hours a day for the most part, or being on Zooms or whatever it is, and they're getting paid. So if I'm doing the same thing and I'm not getting the same pay, I think it's fair that you could be confused watching that.
Well, my whole point is that someone lied to you. She said it right out of her mouth.
Yep.
Someone lied to you about working part-time and getting full-time pay. That's called your lab partners, Jessie Lee. That's called your direct downline, Jessie Lee, because at some point it came out of your mouth.
Yep. Absolutely. Yep. Okay.
direct your life where you need it to go. Direct your life and direct yourself and lead yourself where you need to go. Okay? Okay. So you've got to rely on you. You've got to rely on you. You've got to rely on you. Guys, it's going to be hard. You've got to learn how to do the hard things, and you've got to learn how to love the hard things. It can be hard sometimes to love the hard things. You know what, though? You can do hard things. You can get through hard things in your life. You can get through somebody cheating on you, and somebody beating you, and somebody stealing your stuff, and somebody, robbing you. Literally, I had a best friend rob me. Can you believe that? Ridiculous. Okay.
I never know when to say a trigger warning, because she just jumps from thing to thing. It's like a stream of illogical consciousness. What?
You can get over someone beating you?
Yeah.
My dogs are also service animals. When my mother and I are upset, they will come to try to calm.
I love that.
So, they're emotional support animals. He's licking my hand right now. Yes, you can survive someone beating you, Jessie Lee, but the marks that it leaves on you for the rest of your life affect your life.
Yeah.
So, trigger warning. We're wicked sorry. Didn't know she was going to say it.
Yeah.
At all.
And it's hard to even catch what she's
exactly, Jada. Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, what's that
Oh,
story
that just.
about? I wonder if Erin knows about who stole from her. We'll have to ask her in the Discord. We'll have to ask her.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
You can do hard things. You can show up when you don't need to. You can go to the events when you don't feel like showing up. You can go to the trade show even though you don't feel like you have time. You can do hard things. And I'll tell you what, the hard things are what make you into an amazing human, because the hard things break you down to build you up. You cannot become a good person without adversity. I don't believe it.
This is that same twisted and again, if you here's one of the issues I have with manifestation and attraction marketing. If you believe that what's the other side of it? Well, if everything is attracted to you or brought to you by your own decisions and thoughts, then how do you explain people getting hurt or assaulted or beaten or you know what I'm saying? Like how do you explain that in the same breath that
How do you manifest that?
yeah. And I don't believe I'm not on board for the manifestation talk that she says. And then she's also
Me neither.
talking about reframing what emotions are good, what emotions are bad, what should your reality look like, what should busy look like for you. And all of this includes her opportunity as one of the things you should be fitting into your life. And I'm just not here. I am not here for it.
I don't believe
I'm
you
not
can
here for it. And I agree with Karina with what she just said about hating her. I actually don't hate her because I don't know her. Okay. I hate what she just said
Yeah.
because it puts a survivor into victimhood instead of living their truth and living in the fact that they're a survivor. They survived the worst thing of their life.
Yeah.
Whether it was an abusive relationship, whether they came from homelessness, right? She puts any survivor of any extreme traumatic behavior from, especially from another person, into victimhood and not allowing them to live and thrive in their survivorhood.
Yeah. And
I hate what she does. I hate what she says, but I don't hate the person because someone eventually, at some point, lied to her, right? Brainwashed her
yeah.
when she was, how old was she? When 22? When she
Yeah.
got into direct sales and MLMs? She was
Yep.
what, 21, 22 years old?
Yeah.
Her brain wasn't even fully formed yet,
Yeah. And she
right?
does have
Your frontal lobe and your frontal cortex doesn't fully develop until you're 25 or 26 years old.
yeah.
And even then, some psychiatrists and psychologists and neuroscientists think it's even later than that in certain genders. Like females, we mature faster than boys.
Yeah. Yep.
So the frontal cortex and the frontal lobe may not have even been fully developed for some people when they were lied to and brainwashed. At some point, she was made a victim of a lie, but she turned from victim to predator.
Yeah. And she does
You
have a
know,
lot of
through the
trauma.
income disclosure statement.
Yeah.
She does. And
Yeah.
and she creates her own drama so people will talk about it. She's hoping that these earlier podcasts will never be listened to because we can hold her directly accountable for what she's doing today.
Yep. And I think, she said that she sent her dad to jail when he attacked her mom when she was 9. I think that would be incredibly traumatic for a child. And so I
I
think
agree.
she
And
is yeah.
my childhood background comes into play here
Yep.
big time.
Yeah.
As someone would look, I would have to get 3 more degrees to be able to diagnose her. Okay. I have a basic degree. I have a bachelor's and I have an undergrad degree. But we learn enough about childhood trauma to know that something like that, seeing your mother beaten, almost killed in front of you, and you call the police on your dad, of course she wanted her dad back. She loves her dad.
Yeah.
She may not like him very much because she almost, he hurt her mom,
Yep.
but that love never goes away.
Yeah.
And that conflict creates trauma. There's no way around it.
Yep.
So unless she got deep, deep therapy for that and overcame it from the time she was old enough to get therapy till 22, she could still be reliving that trauma and ignoring it.
Mm.
And pushing it down and pushing it down and pushing it down eventually it's going to come up and it's going to bite her in the ass if she hasn't already dealt with it.
Yeah, I
But
think it's
for her to sit
possibility.
here and do what she does is disgusting. It's so gross, man.
Best version of yourself without adversity, because the adversity breaks you down to build you up. And people cannot relate to the fancy, look at this car, look at this house, look at this trip, look at la 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 la. They relate to the adversity. They relate to the hard times. So you better be willing to break down and build yourself up and take responsibility for your actions. You cannot, guys, you should have the big scary goals. You should have the things that freak you out. You should have the things that make you stay up at night. I mean, I'm up at night and I'm up in the morning. Do I even sleep? I don't know. I was called a vampire the other day. She said, oh, Jessie Lee, I swear you eat a steak, you sleep for an hour, you wake up, you drink some ketones, you're like, I'm good. I'm good.
Hasn't she recently said that she's drank like 5 ketones in a day and that she's exhausted? So I know she's struggling with some health stuff. I'm not a doctor, can't speak to it. I find it interesting that she is saying one thing back in 2018, and she might be exaggerating for her podcast, which is entirely possible. I just find it interesting to compare what she said back here in 2018 to what she's doing today. You know, it's just interesting.
I'm like, maybe I am a vampire. I don't know. But I'm also just so full of passion and I take so much responsibility for everything. Meaning, do I take responsibility for my wins? Oh, you bet. You bet. I know that I win because I work. I know that. Okay. But I also take responsibility for my losses because I'm one of those people who I don't think before I act. I just act and I just do and I'm all out.
I don't think she takes responsibility for her losses. I don't think that she's ever, she's settled. I think she settled her dispute with her former landlord with the house that got flooded. I think that, which means I think she paid out. She paid out whatever fee she needed to, which I wouldn't call that's a win. I just call it a settlement. And she said she has won all of these things. I think I think they settled the defamation.
The settlement is not a win.
Yeah. She settled the defamation case with Justin Prince. I think she did get her commissions payout from O'Dear, but I think she also had to sign an NDA. From what I understand, allegedly. That don't take this as fact. So I does for continuing to reframe and redescribe things and put them into the reality that you want. I don't think that's acknowledging a loss at all. I don't think that's acknowledging a loss.
Massive action. But that comes
It's avoiding it.
Yep.
Consequences sometimes. And so when I screw up, I will tell you I screw up. When I need to say I'm sorry, I will say I'm sorry. I have no problem taking responsibility for my actions. I have no responsibility taking I have no responsibility. I have no issue taking responsibility when I do things wrong. I have no issue taking responsibility.
Freudian slip.
Yeah, Freudian slip for sure. For sure. You know, I can't speak to it. It's not my own personal experience, but go watch Aaron B's videos and then come back and tell me that she has no problem admitting she's wrong, because that's not the picture that's painted from someone who actually knows her.
Nope.
Yep.
For when I body slam things and I do things right. So if you're going to take credit for all of your wins, you better take credit for your losses and take responsibility. So if your business isn't going where you want it to be, if your life trajectory isn't where you want it to be, if your happiness isn't where you want it to be, if your relationships aren't where you want it to be, take responsibility for that. Take the moment to get realigned with the things that matter to you. Take the moment to get realigned with your passions, with your visions, with your goals, with your dreams, and have the audacity.
That is an excellent point, Charlene. She completely blamed her landlord for all the damage she caused in that house. I mean, don't take our word for it. You can go read the case on Pacer or go watch.
Go read the complaint.
Yeah, I think Aaron and Chelsea and It's a Pyramid Scheme and Julie Joe did a video and they went through the filing and the complaint, because it sure is a different story than what we're hearing here. And she, again, completely blamed her landlord.
To go full out, to play full
and not
out.
To mention what Karina said, say sorry to Aaron.
The bad for the ugly.
Yep. and say sorry to Aaron then. Yep. That's a good, very, or even what she said about her son too. And go
Acknowledge
watch
what
the
she
video.
did to her.
Yeah.
Yep.
And build
Yep.
yourself the life that you want. And that's only going to happen if you quit playing around and saying, oh, I'm just part-time, but I'm going to make some full-time money. It's not going to happen. The people who tell you that that's the way it works are lying to you. So I'm here to tell you, if you want full-time money, if you want residual income, if you want time freedom, then you're going to have to put in the hours. You're going to have to put in the work. You're going to have to put in the grind, the hustle, the hard sweat, tears, blood, probably. And you're going to have to go all out massive action, and you're going to have to work. And if you don't want to do that, then live a mediocre life. And there's nothing wrong with that for you, but it is not for me.
So their only choices are to live a life that meets her standards or it's mediocre. It's one or the other. Okay. All right.
If it's not for you, and if you want to live a rich life, and it is rich in abundance and rich in happiness and rich in people and rich in relationships and rich in wealth and rich in passion and rich in whatever rich means for you, then you've got to take the initiative and you've got to take the responsibility and you've got to go all out, all in, all the time. If you got value from this, I would love for you to make sure you subscribe, make sure you rate it, and I would love for you to share it with a friend. My name is Jessie Lee Ward. You can also call me Boss Lee, and I love and appreciate every single one of you. I hope that this helped you realize if you want some full-time money, baby, we gotta work full-time. I will talk to you guys soon. Thanks again for sharing with me on this podcast.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Well.
Straight from her mouth.
This
Straight
is my
from her
son.
mouth. Oh my gosh.
This is the night. He can't hear, thank God. He can't hear anything, so I got my earbud in. Thank God. Because he's subject to my anti-MLM content that I watch on the TV all the time. So hopefully by the time he turns 18, he'll know it's a scam. Because he's autistic too. So they would have no problem taking advantage of him because he doesn't understand certain things about the world. And that's what we're working on.
Yeah.
All right, that's enough. Go.
Yeah. I hope that the younger generation can understand the dangers of multi-level marketing.
I agree. I 100% agree. I hope that YouTube remains a thing for the next 20 years. At least 20 years. A new generation, a whole new generation of people that maybe, just maybe, because Gen Z has initiated and got so much change in the world, right?
Yeah.
They have been one of the most influential generations.
Yeah.
So I would like to see YouTube as a whole still be around for 20 years, so a whole new generation would be able to come on and see both sides of the argument and be able to make an educated decision about joining this business opportunity.
Yeah. I think, and again, the biggest issue I have, and maybe I'm dreaming too small, Jessie Lee Ward. I while I hope that multi-level marketing companies fade out, at my first point is I hope that I want if you are selling an opportunity, if you're selling a product, tell the truth, tell the complete story, show the income disclosure. Show it when you're talking to someone. It's going to benefit you, maybe not right now in terms of you maybe would recruit less people, but you're going to have less churn. And maybe you don't care because you're trying to get that money. You're trying to get that coin sooner, but you're hurting people in the process. And I don't want people to continually be hurt, especially when they're getting hurt with deception.
Me too.
It's like, it makes me crazy.
It breaks my heart.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. And again, charismatic people like Jessie Lee Ward continue to grow influence and talk, and in my opinion, con other people into the benefits of this opportunity. And you're not telling the truth. And that's one of the biggest
Straight up,
issues.
I would call her an influencer.
Yeah.
Straight up, I would call her an influencer at this point in her career. I would call her an influencer. And there's a difference between being a top MLM recruiter, leader, whatever. You are an influencer within that company.
Yeah.
Jessie Lee has become bigger than that. She's reaching a public audience, which is what she was hoping for. She was praying for, to reach a larger public audience, to get them interested in the business opportunity, to get them in her downline.
Yeah.
The psychology behind it is she's hoping to manipulate enough people into living the way she wants them to live, which is ignoring your friends and family, become part of the community, and the only people you talk to and befriended are the people within that company, which is so disgusting. Those are the personal relationships she wants you to work on. She doesn't want you to work on your interpersonal relationships with your friends, your family, coworkers, etc. This business should not be so intertwined with your actual life. It should be a job, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
when I was working, that job came home with me for like maybe a few hours a day because I was an assistant manager and I lived next door to my store. I would get phone calls constantly, questions, problems, etc. So that part, yes, it did intertwine with my life. However, when it was my day off, it was my day off. If I was on vacation, I was on vacation.
Yeah.
They left me alone. And guess what? I still got a paycheck.
Yeah.
I didn't have to work on my day off in order to get a damn paycheck.
Yeah.
These people have no days off. They have to live the business. And at the end of the day, if you're not living the business, you're not going to succeed.
Yeah.
You're just not.
Yep. Yeah. It's this I didn't realize. I mean, I guess I knew like the podcast was going to be a little bit not I didn't realize there was going to be so much negative parts in the podcast that we've heard straight from her mouth. So we're gonna
And
do
that was the thing. That was probably the most negative podcast I've heard. Usually they're, especially coming from these larger, like WFABs, they never sounded like that. Ever. They never took someone's trauma and said, oh, you get over it.
Yeah.
You just get over it. How disingenuous and how disconnected are you from reality is my question. That I'll never get an answer for. That Erin will never get an answer or an apology for.
Yeah.
Because she can't admit when she was wrong.
Yeah, it definitely seems like a centric focus, but again, her business revolves around people and her brand and stuff, and I think she's trying to come across as a straight shooter, someone who tells the truth, that whatever that truth is, someone who says things in a I don't know I don't know how to explain it exactly, but I think she's trying to be like unconventionally in her honest, and it's offensive. So
Okay, so what you're saying is that she's trying to be that person who is so completely open that she doesn't mean to be disingenuous.
yeah, I think that's what she's trying to do.
Or to hurt people.
Yeah, I think that one, she's unaware of other people to a point, unless they somehow can feed in and benefit her own life. And so she says some things that are hurtful to others. And I don't think that she is even aware of it. But I think that she's trying to set herself apart from other podcasters that, like, these are all assumptions. I don't know. It's just, they don't seem well thought out. There doesn't seem to be an overarching theme. She seems to get off track and go down rabbit trails. And again, you could have a dynamic podcast because no one's watching you. You probably you could write an outline, and she said she supposedly is this incredible student where she could write something. She could do something that tracked and like made sense from start to finish. But I haven't heard one talk from her. I haven't heard one podcast yet where it's like, this makes sense. It tracks from start to end. I've never heard it.
You know what we should do? We should save this podcast and take a current training video and compare the two about where she's lying.
Yep, I think that'd be
And
great.
get Karina on it.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't want to be held, she cannot be held accountable. She's so honest. And she'll call you out on your bullshit. But yet she's lying here to get people interested in the business opportunity, right?
Yeah.
But then you take a recruitment video and it will come out of her mouth that you can work part-time and earn full-time money.
Yeah. Yep. I think that'd be very interesting, and hopefully maybe Karina can get on next time. We'll have to find one that
I definitely can, for the most part.
Yeah. Cool. That'd be
Because
great.
we've already been through the podcast, you know what I mean? I would like to see a pod like this particular podcast. And I gotta switch earbuds. But I would like to see this particular podcast compared and contrasted with a training video, or more importantly, a recruitment video.
Yeah. I think that'd be super interesting. Well,
I mean, it's just an idea. You can do what you want at your channel.
oh no, yeah, I think it's interesting. Again, the whole point is to bring some context to what she is saying and how her influence is continuing to go unchecked. Not to obviously Erin is telling the truth about her relationship and the real Jessie Lee. Chelsea's trying to do the same thing. Julie Joe, other YouTube creators, Karina. I don't know who else is covering this, but and I don't say unchecked to take away from them at all, but across the board, she's continuing to say, I'm being taken out of context and no one is understanding me right. And when people see the real me, they get me. No one that I follow has ever clipped her at all. They do things from start to finish.
They refuse to. Because she says what she says that they refuse to clip anything that might be even relatively irrelevant to what they're talking about in their video, just to protect themselves from saying, oh, she clipped this and put this together and I never said that was taken out of context. They don't do it.
Yeah.
But these are the words that are coming out of her mouth used against her. And a lot of people, because she said what YouTuber she was suing without saying what YouTuber she was suing.
Yep.
And it drove a bunch of people to Chelsea's channel. It wasn't hard to figure out once Chelsea came and said, look, Jessie Lee served me a cease and desist.
Yeah.
All those people that were on Jessie Lee's live about it went running to Chelsea.
Yeah. Yeah, and so it's like, a lot of the issues are not, again, contained to her change in behavior since 2020. This is 2018. She said this is what she's about, and she's now starting to do things that contradict what she said back here. And it's certainly interesting. And if you're a leader, if you have a lot of influence and you're speaking out of both sides of your mouth, where you say you believe this and then you choose to do this, people are going to have questions because you're on a public platform. So, Chelsea said, "Where up, B?" Oh,
yeah, she did. Yeah, she did. And what was funny is nobody else was served with a cease and desist. Do you know what's even funnier? Is the person that she went after was Chelsea, but she's never gone after Erin. Why is that?
Yep.
Makes you think. So
Yep.
if you are in Jesse's downline and you come across this video, take a think on that. If you've ever catched Erin B's videos, why is it that she went after Chelsea Suarez and not Erin?
Yeah.
Erin has far more content on your leader, Jessie Lee, or Boss Lee, than Chelsea does, but Chelsea was served with the cease and desist. Why?
That's a good question.
I mean, it's a running joke. It's a running joke. Nobody took it serious, except for Chelsea at the very beginning, because someone was trying to silence her. And that ain't cool. And she kept on going anyway.
Yep.
A lot of people would have gotten real scared and shut up.
Yeah. And again,
Not me. So,
the absolute.
but she served the wrong person, in my opinion.
Yeah, but again, it's the absolute defense for defamation is telling the truth, and so that's another issue too, where Erin's been talking about her experiences, and Chelsea's talking about her experiences too, and how she also at the beginning of every video says, "This is my opinion. Do not take it as fact."
Yep.
And we try to say that too. It's
Do your own research.
generally accepted that we're speaking and commenting, critiquing another, obviously a podcast. It's our opinion, and we try to say that this is our opinion throughout, because sometimes people get caught up in the charge, because we're all a lot of us are in agreement that we're not big fans of her, and I try to stay kind of low to the ground here on my channel. And again, even Tanya, even when we were listening to this, Tanya said, "Hey, I like what Jessie Lee said here." And that doesn't take away from our critique of the other stuff that she's done. And we're not trying to be in an echo chamber here. We're trying to say, "Hey, we don't really like this." And, "Oh, yeah, that was a good point." Decide it for what you will.
Well, my whole point is that I'm sure that if I ever met Jessie Lee in person, we would probably get along. Because her and I are very, very similar personality-wise. I'm a loudmouth. I run my mouth a lot. But at the end of the day, I don't lie. I don't lie, and I don't steal, and I sure as hell don't take advantage of people.
Yeah.
I don't do the things that she does in her professional and now personal life. In her personal life, she tried taking advantage of her landlords and running a scam on them. And I will call that a scam, because she tried blaming them for the flood. And the company that they had to come in and clean up the mess, she tried cleaning up the mess before the landlords would find out.
Yep.
But they couldn't come in and do the work without an owner's permission.
Yep. And if you're watching this video, I'm going to link.
So she does this in her personal life.
Yep. I'm going to link that video about that case in the description below after this live ends, so that you can go and watch it. I think it's on Erin and JJ's channel, and I'll link both.
Yep.
So you can support whomever you would like. All right. Karina has to go. Yeah, we'll touch base. I'll touch base in the when we can all get together and do this.
Karina.
Yeah.
Hearts
to you, Karina. and I'll touch base with you too, Tanya, about when we can do this, compare and contrast with one of her trainings.
Sure.
And
For sure.
again, Tanya is restarting her YouTube channel. I'm going to get the link for her channel as well. I'm going to put it in the description for her Instagram and her channel, and go support and follow her. That would be incredible. And we'll see you on the next episode. Thank you so much for your support, live chat and replay crew. Y'all are the best. Leave your comments in there, and let's start a conversation.
Support DeeCee.
Thank you so much. Well, we will let you have a good rest of your Sunday, and we will catch you next time. All right. Bye.
Bye.